TFA fam, how do you do? It's week 2. I didn't even mean to do that. It just happened.
Yes.
Just happens naturally. That is a great sign of things to come. Hope you guys all had great week 1s. Hope you all got those dubs. Hope you won some money. We were on to week 2. So any questions you have, start firing them in. We already have one from Kyle D. We had Mark rocking with us an hour early. That's what we like. We're sorry we weren't ready to go at that point, but we're here now. Mark, hope you're still with us. Like I said, keep those get those questions coming in. Let's kick off with Kyle since he already has this one queued up, and then we can start talking about just some week 2 matchups until some of these other questions start rolling in. But got an RB question to open things up, trying to pick my RB2 from the following selection. Eli Mitchell, threw him up on the thumbnail because I figured we were going to get a lot of questions about him tonight. James Robinson or Nyheim Hines?
I get it that the James Robinson 5-carry game looks really, really scary, right, after 1 week. And we don't know what's going on with this Jaguars offense. There's a lot of questions about Urban and all this stuff. But all that said, I think he's the guy I trust the most. They go against the Broncos, who I don't think is a fantastic matchup, but it's not one that I'm like super nervous about. And he's just the guy that I think out of these 3 names, even though Nyheim Hines in a PPR setting can do some work, he's going against the Rams, which is actually a defense I kind of shy away from. So if you want to talk about what I think a normal workload in most weeks for James Robinson will be, I think he's the guy that I feel the safest with. Eli Mitchell is probably that risky guy who could pay off, but he also could. It's not the Lions, right? It's not the Lions. They're not up by double digits going into the third quarter. It's a different week for Eli Mitchell. Even if he does see a majority of the work, it's just a different week for him.
I'm actually going to go Hines here. I expect the game script to be similar to what it was last week. I think, we talked about on the RB show, the ranking show, Robby. I think Hines had 17 opportunities, 18 opportunities, something like that. So especially if you're in a full PPR league, I like Hines in this case. Jacksonville just scares me altogether. Like it's not a terrible matchup up front with their front 7. Obviously, their strength there comes from the edge players. Not going to affect James Robinson all that much. Their secondary full of studs, even with not having Ronald Darby, they're still really strong. They were playing from behind last week. Carlos Hyde still, got more carries than he did. I don't know. I feel like I know what to expect more from Nyheim Hines than I do James Robinson. And same thing for Eli. It wouldn't surprise me at all if this week, again, we talked about this as well in the running back ranking show, that it wouldn't surprise me if this week it's Sermon getting 15 carries and Eli Mitchell getting 7. So I feel much safer with Hines there. I would go with him. We'll make sure we get Kev's opinion whenever he jumps in. Yes, Walito, the Godfather, is missing. Ty, we got it. Yeah,
there's
how about that?
There's a name.
There is a name. I know that face. I know a couple of those faces. Tyler, hope you're doing well, buddy. Let us know if we can help you with your start sit questions.
I'm gonna need some help with some of mine. So we'll get through all these questions, but Cody, I got some of my own. It's a tough week. You and I were talking about on the last show. Up to week 1, you think it's the most difficult week to try and figure out who you're starting. Well, after you get 1 week of stuff, you have to decide whether you believe that or not. And so this week 2 is even more difficult. It feels like.
Yeah, absolutely. Hustle15 has a half PPR question. Gaskin, Eli Mitchell, or Javonte Williams?
Oh, there's going to be so many Eli Mitchell questions.
Yes, there are.
I'm going to stick with Javonte here. I get it that we saw the Melvin Gordon 70-yard run. It makes the box score look like he dominated, but this was truly a 50-50 split. And actually, Javonte, outside of the 70-yard run, kind of outproduced him in an efficiency standpoint. You could argue Gaskin there as well, but here's the thing. Gaskin actually only played 54% of the snaps in his own right. It looks a little bit different because it's split with 2 other guys, right? You have Malcolm Brown getting 30% of the snaps and Salman Ahmed getting 20%. But he's also kind of just splitting the same work that Javonte would. And I just trust Javonte maybe as the better overall back. I trust him as a better runner for sure. So I'm going to go Javonte there out of these three.
We have our first agreement of the night. I will also go Javonte. I like the matchup. And up until that 70-yard run, it was looking like it was leaning in Javonte's favor. And if they're ahead, maybe they give the rookie some extra touches as well. So I like Javonte in this matchup. We've got Raylan rocking with us. Raylan, I need another random question from you. That's what I'm going to task you with each and every week. Last week we got Beyonce or Rihanna. I want another random one from you. And yes, we appreciate all the likes, all the subs. If you're not yet subscribed to the channel, we'll be kicking it here with you guys as long as it takes to get through all of these questions. Longbow, are you sitting Aaron Rodgers for Jameis?
It's a bit too cheeky, Longbow. It's a bit too cheeky to go Jameis. You're chasing a 5-touchdown game. I get it. You want to look at week 1. Aaron Rodgers, 0 touchdowns, 2 interceptions. Jameis, 5 touchdowns. But you cannot do this. Aaron Rodgers, and historically, honestly, if you look at Aaron Rodgers over his years, if he has a bad game, he comes back really, really strong. And we're talking about him facing the Lions. You and I talked about this on some of the ranking shows. The Lions, as bad as they are already, they're missing now one of their top corners. He is out for the season, Jeff Okudah. So I think it's just going to be open season for Aaron Rodgers. I think I had him as like QB2. We had him as QB3, I believe. So this is definitely Aaron Rodgers.
Yeah, and we just to touch on Jameis a little bit more. I'm gonna need to see it for several weeks before I buy into it. Like we are literally asking him to produce for fantasy wise the way that Tom Brady had whenever it was just a bunch of no names in New England, and I am not there yet with Jameis. So this is absolutely Aaron Rodgers. Don't panic. Don't do anything crazy week 2. Long year. Start Aaron Rodgers. Francisco needs some help. I have Allen, Zeke, Taylor, Harris, Ridley, DK, Woods, Hawk. On the bench is Sermon, Ayuk, Murray, Hyde, Galloway. Galladay?
Hallway. No. It's just hallway. I actually really like when people have typos because we have to guess who is he going with here? Who is he intending to put in here? Callaway, maybe. I don't know. HC, maybe?
Yeah, maybe. Should I trade Harris and Woods for Aaron Jones? So would you trade Najee and Bobby Trees for Aaron Jones?
Yeah, man, I think I absolutely would. And this is a guy who loves Robert Woods, but it looks like with your team, you pretty much have studs between Allen and Hawk. You have your quarterback and tight end. I'd say those are top 5 options at those positions. You have Zeke and Taylor, which is a really strong 1-2 punch. Ridley, DK, really strong 1-2 punch there. It's probably just like where your flex is coming in. And you have Ayuk, who I think will be better. He will have better days ahead. But if you can make Aaron Jones or JT your third running back, man, that is a hell of a roster. I would absolutely try and grab Aaron Jones for that.
But then we're creating a hole at receiver, right? I guess it also depends on how many you're starting each week. Like if this is just like 2 and 2 and a flex, I think you can get away with it. But if you're starting 3 receivers, I
didn't go into it thinking he's starting 3. I'm assuming this is a 2-2 with a flex, and with that, He's got DK and Ridley, who's going to be auto starts every week. And then I think Ayuk is actually, I don't love him as much as the rest of the community did, but I think it's going to be much better than what we saw week 1. I think he's going to be a flex play most weeks. So if he's your wide receiver 3, you're sitting fine there, in my opinion. And then you can rotate the rest of that back end of your wide receivers. I think it looks probably Callaway. There's other guys that popped up, Jacoby Myers. You know what I mean? There's going to be options. Elijah Moore. There's going to be people for you at wide receiver.
If it is a start 3 receiver, say it's 1, 2, 3, would you still make this trade?
Honestly, I think I still would, but then I wouldn't make that the end of my trades, right? Because I think you are upgrading even with the 2-for-1. You're still upgrading, and then I would maybe move one of those guys and maybe upgrade your Ayuk to a top 15 guy. Maybe an A-Rob, he might come to mind after a quiet week, right? Can A-Rob be bought low? That's what I would still do. I would still do that trade, but make sure if you are starting 3 wide receivers, it's not your end game. You have to do one more move to make to get a wide receiver in the room.
Oh, it's Damian Harris, not Najee. Then yes.
Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah, I assumed it was Damian. I didn't even. This wasn't even me thinking that it was Najee. Oh gosh, if it was Najee, that's a little bit closer.
That's why I was like, all right, wow, he's pretty he's pretty gung ho about this. Yes, okay. If that's Damian Harris and you can upgrade to Aaron Jones for the price of Bobby Trees, yes, I would do that. Even if you do start 3 wide receivers, that was my hang up because I thought it was Najee, and I'm like, man, you already got 3 really good running backs there. Okay. All right. I'm glad I scrolled down and we cleared that up. Josh T, we need 2 in a standard, AJB, Lockett, and the aforementioned Bobby Trees.
You know, I think AJ Brown is going to be the one I just lock in right away. And most weeks I'm going to have Woods over Lockett. Lockett's going to be better in a standard league because he's a guy that just kind of goes off some weeks and doesn't have like a ton of
last week,
right? Yeah, like last week, right? So he gets a little bit closer with Woods in that regard, but I probably still lean Woods. I'm not gonna base this answer just off of 1 week. I'll go AJ Brown and Woods, but if you wanted to really go Lockett, I don't think that's a big deal.
Yeah, I like Lockett there in that matchup and get a little game stack going there as well.
The touchdowns are probably going to favor Lockett, and I think that's very big in standard. So I can definitely see that argument where they're going to be pretty close in receptions, I'm going to guess, at the end of the year. So it really comes down to the touchdowns.
Yeah, I probably lean yards for Lockett as well.
Right.
Like if Lockett has one of those games, you know what I mean, where Woods, I think, is just like that steady, 8 for 80 and a score, once every like three or 4 weeks, where Lockett, he literally has 200-yard upside, and going up against this defense that Kyler Murray just absolutely torched. I like that matchup. Aiden wants to know Fant or Andrews.
I think the first thing I'm trying to do is maybe move one of these tight ends because I feel like he's going to be asking himself this a lot, honestly. I do have Mark Andrews above Fant in this week, but they're pretty close. Like if you told me Fant's going to end the week better, I could definitely say that. But I do have Mark Andrews having a bounce-back week against the Chiefs. I think Lamar Jackson, if there's anybody that's going to have success, I think it's going to be Mark Andrews in this game against the Chiefs. And so I do have Andrews over. But Aiden, I would really look to try and move Fant. Maybe if he has another good week building upon his week 1, there's a lot of tight end needy teams most likely in your league. Try and build depth at running back, build some depth at wide receiver, whichever one you need more. You don't need both these guys on your team.
Yeah, especially if Fant has another good week and Andrews disappoints a little bit, you're going to be able to get more for Fant than you would Andrews because then people are going to start worrying about Lamar as a passer and everything else. But if you look at, I can't remember the tweet I saw. I'm not going to try and pass this off as my own, but his Mark Andrews usage numbers in terms of the routes run and and things like that were very, very positive for him. So it just seems like it's going to be just a matter of time for Mark Andrews, and I think you can attack that KC defense, and they're going to have to throw. I think you can attack that KC defense over the middle with their linebackers. Pata. Hurts or Baker?
Oh, man. I think Baker played a hell of a game. It's just they're such a run-first team. You know what I mean? He just didn't score. So Baker, honestly, as a real-life quarterback, I think has taken a full step forward. But that's the fancy offense. They want to run first, run second, and if he's allowed to, he's going to run 3 times in a row. So this is definitely Hurts for me. We saw what he could do. Again, it was against an Atlanta defense, but he'll have a tougher matchup going against the 49ers. But I really like Hurts again this week, especially if we were comparing him to Baker.
Agreeing there as well. Our Tam, best flex option in a standard league: Shepard, Cooks, Gaskin, Debo.
Man, I don't think we're allowed to take any more questions on Brandon Cooks. I think that's not allowed. This one's close. If it is standard, oh man, hard to sit Debo after that week he just had. I'm not the one to
sit
chase
Shepard as well.
And Shepard's one where I don't think I'm going to chase the points because I think it's a much. I do think the Washington football team is going to have some success against this Giants offense. Shepard had a really good game, but if you honestly look at Shepard's history, his yards per target is nowhere near what he had this last week with Daniel Jones. Like he's normally a 6 for 65 or a 7 for 70 kind of guy, getting a 10 or 11 yards per target, yards per completion, I should say. This was kind of an interesting game for him where he popped up. I don't think I'm going to chase that with Shepard, honestly. I'd go Debo with Cooks coming in second there. What do you got?
Yeah.
You can do it.
I'm going to go Shepard. Oh. I think with the I can't remember the percentage, but Shepard played the majority of his snaps from the slot. I think if there is a weakness on that Washington defense, they're going to be playing from behind. I think it is in the slot. Maybe he doesn't have the yards per target, yards per catch that you were just alluding to, but I think he can get peppered with targets. Just saw the report come out that Barkley is unlikely to be unleashed in week 2 here. Evan Ingram out there on a milk carton. Galladay, I didn't even realize it, but he had a solid game last week. The whole thing with the San Fran defense, should we really expect Debo to go out there and out target basically the rest of the team combined? I mean, Kittle ran four routes for whatever reason last week. If you look at his routes run, it really didn't make any sense. If Ayuk is back in the lineup, there's just so many we got a great performance week 1 from the Niners, and it solved nothing. We got no clarity on anything. So I feel a little bit safer here with Shepard. I'm not going to chase that with Cooks. Walito, you can scream Cooks from the mountaintop. But if you are expecting Tyrod Taylor to throw for 300 yards again, I don't know what to tell you, bud. And Gaskin, not a great matchup, only 14 total touches last week. I'm going to go Shepard here, but Debo would be my second option. Another Cooks question, another one coming here from Kyle. Higgins, Cooks, or AB in the flex?
This one's interesting. I think we do need to bring up, because I think a lot of people will want to go with AB for a lot of these start sits. And even AB went off, but we have to remember 2 things. One, he had 64% of the snaps, which I don't love to see. As a wide receiver 3 in that type of offense, I thought he'd be higher, close to 75 or 80% with how much they normally go 11 personnel. And then 2, he was facing the Dallas Cowboys defense matched up against Anthony Brown, who gave up 10 receptions on 10 targets. I don't think he sees that every week. And I get it. It's still an easy matchup this week. So you're not exactly counting that out this week. But I've got on record, I think this is a Mike Evans game. I think he has kind of the bounce back. He gets the touchdown. He gets some more of the targets, which means someone's going to have to sit out a little bit. And I think that might be AB. So I might push towards Higgins. I do think even the Bears are not what the Bears were in the past. That secondary is not what they've had. They've lost pieces in that secondary. So I'm not worried about the Bears secondary. I do think they pass more than they did week 1. I was the guy that is hey, Bengals are going to pass a ton, and then they don't. They just give the ball to Mixon, which I love personally as a Mixon guy. He gets the ball 30 times. That's fantastic. But I don't think this defense keeps up. I don't know how they did it against Kirk Cousins, Justin Jefferson, and Thielen, but they somehow did. I don't think that remains the case. So I will go Higgins in this flex question.
Yeah, I am team Higgins here as well. Got that $5 super chat coming in from Walito. Appreciate it. 6 for 130 in the score. Okay.
Hey, I will give it to him. So, Walito, Brandon Cooks absolutely did fantastic. It was much better than probably even you expected. The one thing that was really interesting with Cooks is that he's not a deep threat type of guy, and he caught 2 – I don't want to call them lucky, but he caught 2 semi-ducks from Tyrod Taylor that could have easily been knocked down. Cooks makes the play on him, but I just don't know how many times that lands when they're facing different teams, right? They've got the Browns this week. They basically faced two outside corners. It's Tyson Campbell, I believe, and I can't remember the other Jaguars corner, but they didn't defend a pass. They had 100% catch rate, and I just don't know if that's the same success rate, and I just don't know if that's Cooks or Tyrod Taylor's MO. They did it week one. I'm not 100% buying it. I really don't want this to sound like Brandon Cook slander because I do like him. It's just that was
not with Tyrod Taylor.
That's just I don't know if did we see his most yardage output in this season, like week one. I wouldn't be surprised.
Could easily be.
That could be his highest yardage output, and I would not be shocked.
Yeah. So it's again, it's not hate Walito. It's Tyrod Taylor. I'm not banking on Tyrod Taylor whenever Cooks is the only show in town. And shout out to Brandon Cooks for just being one of like the most underrated receivers of our time. 2 QB question here from Josh. I have Ben and Mac. Would you drop either of them for Lawrence, who was just dropped? That's crazy.
Yeah. I think I'm going to like Trevor Lawrence more than Mac Jones most weeks. So do you have to drop them? Well, I'm going to assume he probably has a better quarterback. Mac Jones is probably his third quarterback, I'm going to assume. Because if his quarterback one is
my 2 bench QBs. Okay.
Okay, yeah, there we go. We just got to read.
Yeah.
We'll get this.
I skipped over the bench part.
Absolutely. And honestly, don't drop them. If you're in a 2 QB league and you have 4 QBs, that means somebody has 2 QBs. Ryan Fitzpatrick is injured. Somebody's going to be hurting for QBs. Make a trade. Man, you got to get Lawrence quick, though. See if you can swindle a trade real quick. Get Mac Jones off the team. Even Big Ben. I think Big Ben's fine, but I don't know if he cracks QB1 all that often. I'd try and get Trevor Lawrence on your team for sure.
If these are your 2 bench quarterbacks, I would drop Ben. Because if you're not just because if they're your bench guys and you're not counting on them week to week, I think Lawrence has the higher upside. He has a lower floor. There's more variance there. But I think if I like the guys I want on my bench, even in 2 QB leagues, again, assuming that your other 2 starters are solid, give me somebody with some upside. I liked what I saw out of Trevor Lawrence. They're going to be passing the ball a ton. Even with how how much of a disaster that's already looking like down there. But I'll just swing for the fences there. I'll swing for the upside. Mac Jones, he might not be the sexy option, but threw for 281 yards in his debut against a solid Miami defense. So I would drop Ben there just because, like I said, I think the higher upside resides with him. But yeah, I'd be fine dropping either. I would just lean Ben there because of the upside. Another one from Pata. Chase, Galladay, Gordon, Chenault in my flex. I have Higgins and Mixon starting.
Oh man, how many Bengals can you get going in your team?
How many are too many? It might be his best option.
If you started all 3 last week, you're not hurting. They all 3 did fantastic. So, Gordon, that's Melvin. Honestly, Jamar Chase is probably your best option there. I know you and Kev were a little bit higher on Chenault. I don't know how that wide receiver room shakes out. One thing we should note that DJ Chark, even though he had horrendous he didn't have like a good catch percentage because I think he had like 11 targets or 10 targets and only 3 or 4 receptions. He was peppered in that game. Marvin Jones is right up there with Chenault, and Chenault's yards, his ADOT was very, very low. So that's where I just think he maybe has a low ceiling, at least to start out with until we get more clarity. So honestly, I think this is Jamar Chase. You're going to be rolling out 3 Bengals, hopefully for a second week in a row.
And if you don't feel comfortable starting 3, because that does start to get a little dicey, because if that's a bad game, like your week is tanked, Melvin would be my second choice because of the matchup. Carson, Deontay, A/B, full PPR, need 2 here for Justin.
I'm probably going to go the first 2. Carson for sure. I mean, you and I have talked about it. Carson is always underrated. He can absolutely find the end zone, I think, against Tennessee here. And then I'll go Deontay for the other guy.
Probably safer with Deontay. I'll go there too. But if you find yourself behind after Thursday, I would sub out. I'd put AB in for the higher ceiling. Tam knows what's up. Claypool, Higgins, Jacoby, Devonta Smith at flex in a full PPR.
Man, there's a lot of good options. I'm going to let you take this one first because it's tough.
I would rank them Higgins and then Devonta Smith second.
Pulling up the rankings. Yeah, I do have Higgins the highest. I like Chase Claypool this week. I think he had a little bit of the Tre'Davious White treatment, and against Las Vegas, I think he has much more success. But I have Smith 2 spots behind him, so it's going to be Higgins and then either Claypool or Smith for me.
Rolando, another flex question, another Higgins involvement. Higgins, Evans, Clyde, or Damian Harris at the flex.
It's going to be tough for some people to go back to Mike Evans. Well, no. Strike that. CEH is my pick here. CEH.
You're going Clyde against Baltimore?
I am going Clyde. He played 72% of the snaps. I don't think his yards per carry was fantastic, but I do think he can be a little bit more involved. They absolutely peppered Tyreek. He had 15-plus targets in that game, and sure, Tyreek can do that any given week, but I think it balances out a little bit where CEH can get in that 7 to 8 target range. Yeah, I'm gonna go CEH. I prefer here's how I'll answer that. I'll prefer a running back that can catch passes as well, that has a good opportunity to score, and he's on the best offense in the NFL. That's what gives him the edge over Mike Evans, who you can see him having another 4 for 50 week. Higgins, there's a lot of mouths to feed in that passing offense. If it's a tiebreaker, I want to go with the running back who can catch passes on a great offense.
Yeah, give me the guaranteed touches. You swayed me. Lockett and Mike Davis for Ridley. Do you like that trade?
Yes. You are getting enough of an upgrade from Lockett to Ridley. This is assuming you have running back depth. We should preface this that I want to make sure that your running back 2 doesn't drop down to like a James White or something like that. And that's a guy I like, but you have to have a good running back 2 still because it is the most scarce position. So assuming you have decent running back depth, absolutely.
Yeah, I agree. Don't let week 1 scare you off from there. Do I trade Juju for Tyson Williams? I am a Steelers hater, and I would not do that. We just got the word out today that Baltimore is going to be apparently rotating all 4 of these running backs in. And if you were watching that game on Monday, Tyson Williams disappeared toward the end of the game. Then whenever he did get in, he was the reason why Lamar fumbled that ball because he just – for whatever reason, was like, hey, I don't know about this whole blitz pickup thing. I've seen what he's been doing to Villanueva this whole game, so I'm just going to stay away. So, no, I would not trade Juju for Tyson Williams. Justin Young traded away J-Rob Claypool for Clyde in a 12-man full PPR and got CEH. Thoughts? I like it. I think Claypool is going to be an up-and-down, boom-bust kind of guy week to week. If you look at his, touchdown totals from last year, we have to remember that I think 3 or 4 of them came in one game. So I think he's going to be a little bit too variant for me. And James Robinson, again, Urban Meyer, just get me away from that as far as possible. So after the trade, Zeke, Kamara, Clyde, A-Rob, Godwin, Davis, Cooks.
It's a great roster. Great roster.
Well done. Alexis joining us again. Good to see you in here. Jamar Chase, Mike Davis, Tim Patrick, Jamal Williams. Who do I start?
Mike Davis is going to be an absolute sit for me on a lot of these. So if you guys are having Mike Davis questions, most of the time it's going to be a switch for me. This is going to be Jamar Chase. Tim Patrick coming in, he obviously gets a boost in value. It's not going to match what Jamar Chase will get in terms of his snap and probably target share. And then Jamal Williams, I don't know if I trust it yet. He did fantastic.
Jamal would be second here for me.
He's probably second. He is second.
Chase
That's
fair.
First. But Chase is just far and away above him.
Law Dog Jr. Got another trade question. Zeke and Mark Andrews for Mixon and Darren Waller already have Chubb. in a full PPR.
Here's the question. Obviously,
Yes.
there's
give me the mix inside.
Yeah, because there's a huge upgrade from Andrews to Waller.
Yes.
And then I think we talked about this. You and I have been mixing guys for a long time. And if he stays healthy, he has the workload. He has the workload we saw. I like it. Do it. Yes,
give me the again, mix inside on that one. Not sure which side you were, Law Dog. Yango. Trading Keenan Allen, Kittle, Edmonds for Dalvin and Waller. Is this good? So Kittle, Keenan, and Edmonds for Dalvin and Waller. Got Hill, Ridley, Allen, AB, Henderson, Edmonds, Jamal or Javonte, Kyler, and Kittle.
I mean,
so
it's probably
getting the upgrade at tight end again.
Yes. I'd say a little bit of an upgrade there. And then I mean, Cook's the best asset in here. So it's the tight ends are close, but Waller is the upgrade. And then I think Cook is the big asset here. So your wide receivers are fine. That's the big thing I was worried about. If you're moving off Keenan Allen, what do your wide receivers look like? And you have Hill and Ridley with I'd want to know who that third is, I guess, man. It's a pretty even trade. I'd need to see the entire team.
But it is a massive upgrade at running back.
Yeah, and that's what he needed for sure. So
yeah, yep. Give me the Dalvin side. I don't like moving off of Keenan Allen because I love Keenan. Robby, you and I both have him in our top 4. You have him at 2 for this week, but upgrading from Henderson and Edmonds to Dalvin, and then especially if that is Javonte Williams. And if he can become the guy later in the season, you'll be cooking there. So I like that as well. Do we have a special guest sitting backstage?
I think we do. He's waiting for the right time. Can we get that stone cold glass breaking music? Hit the music.
I'm a bot. AB or Scary Terry?
Man, the bots should know best that even though we are lower on Scary Terry this week, and you could talk yourself into starting AB over him, I'm going to stick with Scary Terry. I just think that he, even in a little bit tougher of a matchup, is just going to have the more secure volume, and we know he can go off and have a fantastic week. So I'm going to stick with him there.
Kevo, welcome, buddy. McLaurin or AB?
McLaurin.
How you doing, bud?
It's good. It's good. It's going really good. Okay, first of all, I just want to say this. You never start this show without the CEO, the Godfather, the GOAT, okay? People didn't come to watch Chris Jones and Tyrann Mathieu, okay? They came to watch Patrick Mahomes play, okay? So I put the people in the stands, all right? So let's get that straight, okay?
They would have left. You're 35 minutes late. So let's take a chill pill.
Hey, it doesn't matter. The people wait for greatness. You understand that, okay?
Anyway, let's move on here. I think we already answered Alexa's question. Chrysanthemum. Throw this one to you, Kev. Get you warmed up here. McLaurin or Zeke in the flex? What's my guys? I don't know. What is my guys?
Zeke. That's an easy question. Why would you even ask?
I'm a bot also wants to know should we expect a big week from Eckler and Aaron Jones? Yes, I think they're both in for bounce back, specifically Aaron Jones. And Eckler he got the goal line targets. I mean the goal line touches, which we were told wasn't going to happen. Now he just needs the targets.
Oh, yeah, I was going to say, we were also told by people that, he was going to see 100 targets this year. And, the whole goose egg is also, we should talk about that too.
We're not talking about it right now.
Uh-huh.
I want a refund on my ticket from this Patty Mahomes show. Greg wants to know, would you trade JT for Amari Cooper?
Absolutely not.
Our guy Ashton, 2 flex spots, full PPR. Ayuk, Juju, Sermon, Baywards, Sammy. Talk to me. Let's go. Let's go.
Mm-hmm. Man, a lot of these guys are hard to trust. I think Juju is going to be the one that I'll pick that's a little bit above the rest of these guys. Man, you can talk me in a lot of options here.
Are we going with the Sammy Watkins?
I know, right?
Revenge, revenge game.
Oh my gosh, can we?
Dude, he looked good last week. He looked good.
I'm going to sit this
second
one out.
pick here?
The correct answer is Brandon Ayuk.
It is. It's just so hard to do. You're braver than I am, Kev. You're a brave man. That's why you had to come on the show to make that call. It probably is the correct call.
It should be the correct call.
But man, it's scary. It's scary.
If this were week 1, it would be, oh yeah, absolutely Ayuk. I hope Watkins goes out and has another good game. Are we ready to trust Edwards yet? Like I really hope that is like a momentum change for him. It's like Kev, like you said in the Voxer chat, like weird what happens when you actually target this guy. Like he looked like a beast out there going up against a suspect Steelers secondary. I mean, you have Joe Hayden, who I think at this point is 57 years old. I don't know if Akello Witherspoon is going to be active for this game or not. Obviously inactive last week with him becoming a late addition to the team, but obviously should be, playing from behind. We don't have to worry about Josh Jacobs not going up against this defense. Are we ready to trust Edwards just yet? Because, I mean, you would expect some of those Waller targets to, like, the trickle-down economy, right, to start
can't
being
go
spread
up. They can't go up. Yeah, let's go Juju and Ayuk, but very scared on Ayuk.
And you have to love what you saw from Bryan Edwards.
Have to. So, Antonio, this is my trade. This is my team after the trade. Russ, Kamara, Monty, Ridley, Keenan, Waller, A-Rob in the flex, kicker, defense.
Looks good.
I like it.
Looks good.
Those receivers with Kamara and Russ, and then Waller there too. That's nice. Yeah, I definitely think with that team, you can move on from, because I think we were asking what the running backs look like, and with Kamara there, you're probably not going to be starting Davis over your wide receiver flex option or over Monty on most weeks. Hey, appreciate it. Glad we could help out. Any questions? Discord, YouTube, Twitter, Instagram, TikTok.
Yes.
We're here for you. Brian wants to know, would you move, trade anyone for an upgrade? Brian and I have been going back and forth on Twitter, so I want to get your guys' opinions here. He's been talking about he wants to upgrade at one of these positions. Russ, Chubb, Najee, Julio, Godwin, Pitts, Landry, Eli, Mooney, Tyson, Pittman, Jared Cook. I'll let you guys talk first, and then I'll chime in with what I've been saying to Brian.
I don't think there's anything you need to fix. I mean, you're just going to create a problem to create another problem, I would assume. I mean, there's nothing here to fix. I mean, like we've been saying, it's week 1. I mean, let's calm down, right? Like, there's a lot. If you go back to week 1 last year and look at all the stuff that happened last year, I mean, there was a lot of stuff. I mean, it happens every year. It's the first bit of information we have, and everybody freaks out about it and overreacts and acts like the sky is falling. And it doesn't matter. It's week 1, So like whatever happened, it's fine. All we were looking for, really, the more important thing to me about week 1 is learning some of these fringe guys. Like some of the stuff that we didn't really know about. Like a Brian Edwards, for example, or Terrace Marshall, like guys that we liked, but we didn't really know how their role was going to shake out. So that's what matters. I don't care that Aaron Jones got 3 points. I don't care about any of that stuff. Like, it doesn't matter because those guys are going to be fine. And so there's no reason to overreact after what happens after week 1. And most generally, it takes about 6 weeks for things to really sort of normalize, and that's when you really get a better picture of of what these teams are and how things are going to play out.
Yeah, that was exactly my response too. Because if you're looking to upgrade at one of these positions, Chubb and Najee completely fine. Najee he literally had all the snaps, had all the volume you could ask for. He just didn't come through. Pitts, same thing. He had 8 targets. You can't ask for much more from a rookie tight end. Julio, that entire offense, disappointed. So if you, this is what I was saying to him. If you're going to upgrade it, let's say wide receiver over a Julio, let's say, you're going to have to probably move one of your running backs. And now you're just going to create a massive hole. If you're looking at Eli and Tyson after that, now you're going to create a massive hole at RB2. And same thing with, your running backs. If you move, first of all, Julio is not going to fetch you much value. So if you move from Godwin, now you're creating a hole at wide receiver 1. So stay calm. Everything will be fine. Take a deep breath. And we'll help you through this. We're here for you, Brian. Flappy, we do our
Don't
best.
do that here.
we do our best. We don't do it well, but we do our best. We get A's for effort. T. Brooks, are we buying into the Corey Davis hype? Yeah. Be hard not to. Now, should you expect, 90 yards and 2 scores every week?
2. Yep.
Yeah. No, but it looks like he's a clear-cut top option for Zach there. And, he started off slow, but started to pick things up in the second. Someone like Wilson anyway is what you're going to get out of him. He's kind of like a Josh Allen in the sense of, not really sure what to expect from him from play to play, but whenever it clicks, it's going to be pretty. Eli, Rojo, Higgins, Claypool. Who do you guys like for a flex?
A lot of Higgins questions, and I feel like there's going to be a lot of Higgins answers from me, which always gets dangerous when you have so many. You got to hope you don't miss on that one. I'm going to go Higgins here.
Kev? It's Higgins for me too.
I'm going to go Elijah Mitchell.
Oh, you're outvoted anyway. Flappy, should I take a CEH Brady Galladay for Montgomery? My RB1 is Zeke, QB's Hurts, and Herbert full PPR.
No. I mean, I don't even care about Brady and Galladay. That doesn't really matter to me. I mean, it is what it is, I guess. But I still wouldn't trade. I wouldn't trade for I would rather have CEH.
Yeah.
It's close between the two of them. But then when you add in Tom Brady and Galladay, it's just like there's no way.
And you also do not need to have 3 quarterbacks, chappers.
Unless this is a super flex. But
right. Yeah, if you're able to start 2 quarterbacks, obviously don't drop those guys. But if it's only one, I would look to move on from one of those guys. You do not need to have more than one, especially when one of your options is either Hurts or Herbert. Flip a coin. We like both of those guys. So if you can make a trade involving one of those 2 quarterbacks, go ahead and do that. But I want CEH on that side. Tam, need 2 flex players from here. Shepard, DJ Moore, Boyd, Hunt, Mike Williams.
DJ Moore and Mike Williams.
Same.
Let's go.
Yep.
Here we go. Yes, Raylan, let's go. Eddie Lacy with the gut or Josh Jacobs with one ankle?
Oh, goodness gracious.
Eddie Lacy.
Cheeseburger Eddie. Cheeseburger Eddie. Hard to go against Cheeseburger Eddie.
He was the man there for a short period of time.
He was, man. He really was. Wasn't his vice Chinese food? Was that right?
Yeah, I remember when I remember he posted on Twitter a lot, like before, like when he was in college or whatever. Something about, I don't remember exactly what it was, but something about how much he loved it. But yeah.
Yeah.
We have little players like that. Eddie Lacy, Jeremy Hill had his run, had a little run there for a little while. Like those guys were great. Zach Stacy.
Oh, the bowling ball that was.
I'll never forget. Won me a championship that year.
Yep, same. 2013.
JJ, welcome to the club. Looks like you are in you're in good company here to be 0-1. Jay joining us. T. Iverson, Hines, or Mitchell for RB2 full PPR. Give me Hines.
Interesting.
It's Elijah Mitchell.
Yeah, I think this one's Elijah Mitchell.
So I need to ask you guys, why the hesitancy with Elijah Mitchell? Is it because we're just not sure if he's going to be a thing? I'm talking about for this week. I'm not talking about for the full season. I'm talking about just for this 1 week. Because I mean, it's kind of like we talked about, but like I know this has kind of been the hot button thing, especially on like Twitter and everything else for Elijah Mitchell. Like for the whole season, yeah, I think Trey Sermon is definitely going to be a factor. Like Trey Sermon isn't dead, like that's never the case. But I think that the things that we've seen, in my opinion, with San Francisco is that it doesn't matter who the running back is. It really doesn't. Like Mostert, Jeff Wilson, all of these dudes are just dudes, right? And so I don't really care about that. Like that doesn't matter. Like he's going to get opportunity, and while I don't think he's going to be leading the backfield like he did last week and be getting 20 plus touches a game, that's not going to happen. I still think he probably comes in 11 to 13, 14 every single week. And Trey Sermon's going to get his too. So he's going to be involved as an RB2 every week. And I think he's a capable pass catcher as well. So I think he's in that borderline lower end RB2 flex option every single week until otherwise. Because right now we could talk about like most of probably looks like he's pretty much out for the year. Jeff Wilson might be back week 7, week 8, week 9. So right at this point, it's really those two guys. Jermichael Hasty's not a factor in this, and so I don't think there should be this much hesitancy, I guess, with Elijah Mitchell, which it seems a lot of people have. And it's like I think people are just like, oh well, because they weren't expecting it. That now that people are just, don't want to buy into it, in my opinion.
I would say the counterpoint to that is it's tough to trust him as the RB2 based off of 1 week against a Lions defense that just had gaping holes for him to rush through. And I get it. 49ers, they always have efficient rushers, right? But I don't know if that vaults him in. You say running back 2 every single week. I think that's a bit rich. Like, I
mean, that's not that high though. I mean, you're talking like a low end RB2, like I said, low end RB2 flex option, RB3. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, if you go back and look, his second half was 14 carries for like 39 yards. Like he was not efficient in the second half. It's really good first half. Pops that big run, gets a touchdown right, and I think that's absolutely in the cards. But for this specific question, I agree with you. But I think just in general, I think I'm a little bit more hesitant than you are, just based on I don't know what he does. If you told me Trey Sermon gets 14, 15 carries and Mitchell's down at 10. I think that could absolutely be the case next week or this upcoming week. I don't really know. And so that uncertainty is where I'm a little bit I have him outside of the running back too, because I just feel more certain with some of those other guys in that range.
Yeah, I just for me taking Hines here, I just feel way more comfortable about his role. I think we see a similar game script to what they had last week. Hines is going to get his. It was surprising to see Taylor get as many targets as he did. So if he loses a handful there and those go towards Hines, I just feel more comfortable, especially in a full PPR, going Hines. Like I know what I'm getting out of there. Like it wouldn't be crazy either to see Jermichael Hasty end up having 6 carries in this game, and it ends up being like a 3-person rotation. I just do not know what to expect from Shanahan. Like we had no indication that Ayuk was this like. He wasn't a pro, and he was, you know what I mean? Like I just don't know what to expect from that guy, and I know what I'm getting out of Hines. If Eli Mitchell comes back to bite me in the ass, so be it. Like I'm fine going down with Elijah Mitchell biting me in the ass for week 2. BPG hair. What?
A dirty statement. Keep going.
Well, you're the one to talk about gaping holes. Talk to me about dirty statements. Should I keep Woods or trade him for Waddle and Debo?
No. You're trading him and Waddle, and you're getting Debo.
Okay.
No.
I see.
No, you need to keep Woods and Waddle, if I'm reading this correctly.
Okay, sorry. Yeah, I read it as Waddle and Debo. Sorry. Yeah, you're right.
No, that's overbuying on a fantastic week 1 for Debo. That is not what you want to do.
Yeah, and a bad week for Woods. No. Waddle showed some promise. Woods is going to have his days. Keep that.
Yeah, never buy high. That's what you're doing.
Is he still on my bust list? Hey, if you want to take all the victory laps you can right now, buddy, I'll give them to you. You live in Canada. You're already playing behind the 8 ball. I'll let you have this one. Is Swift going to get 11 targets every week? It's possible, but he's going to have to do that in order to return the value. That's where my thing came in with Swift being a potential bust, because he's going to have to get you those targets each and every week. So, Raylan, let's go. Colin Smith wants to know, start 2.5 PPR, Higgins, AB, or Williams.
Turn this back around to you, Cody, because you have Mike Williams much higher than I think consensus does. Do you have him over Higgins? Because I think you have Higgins over AB. We've already had a couple questions with both of them. Do you have Mike Williams above Higgins here?
I'm going Higgins and Mike Will on this one.
I think I am as well. This is going to be the week where we're all fading AB. It's just going to come back.
I'm going Higgins and AB.
That's. I don't think you have a bad. You don't have a bad option here, Colin. I don't think I'm worried about Mike Williams going against the Cowboys defense, AB going against the Falcons, or Higgins going against the Bears. All three of them have, I'd say, a minimum of 6 targets with an upside of 10 plus. So I think you're safe starting all three. It's really just who kind of probably finds the end zone, who gets the big play here. I'm good with all three.
I'm like 0-12. JJ, I'm beyond 0-1 from last week. Miles Woodward wants to know, who should I go for at flex?
4 FOUR, I believe.
Okay, yeah, I started thinking, like, are we talking about Steelers defense here? I didn't know what was going on. Miles, let us know who your other options are if you're still rocking with us, and we can help you out a lot more there. Or if one of you guys see Miles chiming in later in the chat, we're going to try and catch up. We are a little bit behind on the question. Zippies wants to know, Edwards, Williams, Waddle, Marvin Jones, who do you want at flex?
It's Tyson Williams, but I do not feel great about this. Just because there has to be some concern with what happened. Like, he looked really good, and then, like, he just disappeared. And he was terrible. I mean, he was legitimately terrible in pass protection. Like, he is the reason they lost that game, because that last block that, like, it wasn't a block. He just, like, okay, hey, just come on. Hey. You know?
Yeah, Kev's probably right. I really want to toss Waddle over him. I don't love the matchup for Waddle, but I think he's electric enough where you just kind of need one play. He's really Will Fuller-esque, where you just need that one play with him. So, and I don't know if there's a lot of upside with Williams with what happened. I agree with you guys. I think Latavius Murray gets worked in a lot more, probably gets worked in earlier in the game. So I'm going to lean Waddle here.
I'm going to go Waddle as well. I'm not as worried about the matchup because I just pulled up. I just wanted to verify this. Last week, Waddle played 43 snaps, 28 were in the slot, so he's going to avoid Trey White. Was Fuller just on a 1-game suspension?
He's back.
Correct.
Okay, so you're going to have Fuller, Devontae Parker on the outside, and I think it's going to free up Jalen Waddle. So let me go there. that the matchup with Marvin Jones worries me a tad because that Denver secondary is full O studs. Cooks or Shepard from Christian?
I can finally do a Brandon Cooks.
Sterling
answer.
Shepard.
Brandon Cooks.
Woo!
Absolutely.
It's Sterling Shepard.
I think we're chasing points. I think we're chasing points.
I don't necessarily think we are because
the thing is though with Brandon Cooks, right? Like it's that was
you could
the
be
best
chasing points.
one of the best performances we've ever seen from him. It's not going to happen this week against that Cleveland Browns defense. Okay, they are going to get shut down, and Brandon Cooks is not going to have that type of game again. Okay, and so
I'm not saying that. So
no, I get it. I get it. But Sterling Shepard is always undervalued. Like every year, always undervalued. Like what he did this past Monday was not surprising. That's what Sterling Shepard does. Like Sterling Shepard is a pretty regular producer. I'm not saying that Sterling Shepard is a monster wide receiver, but he's when healthy, his problem's always been health. Like, but when he's healthy, he's generally a pretty solid wide receiver 3, wide receiver 4, and there's nobody in the flex. They have injuries on that team, and so he's going to be playing solely from the slot, and so I don't mind that one bit. And so like it's Sterling Shepard.
I just think Sterling Shepard is a worse version of Brandon Cooks. Like I think
they're not even the same type of what.
What I'm saying is these are both guys. I don't think they have high ceilings. I think both what we saw last week was kind of more of their ceiling plays. But what I like about Brandon Cooks is he's done that more often. Like you said this with Sterling Shepard, and I remember we had this discussion. No, it was maybe Slayton last year, but like we never started Sterling Shepard last year. We never started him last year. Like he had one game over 100 yards. He had maybe 2 games over 75 yards. The rest of the games, he's getting 5 for 55, 6 for 65. And then the game you start him, he gets 3 for 45. He's not a guy that you rely on. So, yes, he pops in week 1. Tough matchup. We're going back to a well that I think we're going to get disappointed with. And I agree with you. I don't think – Cody and I were talking about it before you got on. Brandon Cooks, I don't think he has a game like this. This might be his highest yardage output in yardage. But I'm just going to trust between these two talents – it's no question to me that Brandon Cooks is the better talent. So I'm just going to stick with the better talent when I think they both have tougher matchups, and they're both coming off really good week 1s.
I will break the tie, and I'm going to go Shepard. Fuck you, Walito. Jose wants to know Will Fuller over Marquise Brown or Juju for the wide receiver 3. Appreciate that. Is that a sticker? Is that a super chat?
Oh gosh,
it's a different color.
It's nice and I like it. That's what it is.
It's appreciative of it, but I just wanted to give it the right recognition. We appreciate that. Who do you guys like here? Would you put in Fuller over Marquise Brown or Juju for that WR3 spot?
No, I would not. I was lower on Marquise Brown, and I don't think I should have been. I believe Sammy Watkins still had more yardage, but Marquise caught all 6 of his targets. What's that?
Yards and targets.
But I do think Marquise Brown, he caught all 6 of his targets. I do think this is a game where they will have to pass against the Chiefs. I'm going to go Marquise Brown, actually Juju second, and then Will Fuller third.
It's Will Fuller over all of them.
Okay.
I don't know what to expect from Fuller in his first game back. And I know he was banged up in the preseason, so I'm not sure what what those reps and chemistry and rapport looks like between them. So I think with the other two, you have good enough options that I don't think you have to force in Will Fuller week 1. I want to see it for a week just to kind of see what happens. Obviously, not a great matchup on the outside. Whenever he does draw Trey White, however often that ends up being, does Will Fuller come in and play, 70% of the snaps week 1? I just don't know what to expect. I think I think you could make the argument that he, the most talented, maybe the highest ceiling if everything goes right. But for week 1, I'm fine with Marquise Brown. I'm also fine with Juju. I don't think you have to force him in, and especially if we're talking about, your wide receiver 3 spot, you probably have some other good options that are going ahead of him. So I think you're fine. Marquise Brown does bring some of that upside as well. I knew Kev was going to say Fuller.
That was the right answer. It was the right answer. It was a close second, though. I will say with Marquise Brown, it would be a close second because that matchup against Kansas City. But
yeah. Half PPR need a running back and a flex out of these players: Henderson, Harris, Jones, Marquise Brown, T. Higgins, Devonta Smith. A lot of T. Higgins, a lot of Devonta Smith this week. We need a running back, so let's get that one first. Henderson, Harris. Okay, so Henderson or Harris, who are we going with there?
Speed. Yep. Oh, no. Harris and then T. Higgins. Speed round.
I mean, did we not just figure out that what Darrell Henderson is now? I mean, he played literally all the snaps except for one? I mean, it's time to he should be a locked-in top 20 running back. I mean,
he is. He is a locked-in top 20 running back.
Damien Harris, who does not catch passes, should not be above him.
First of all, he caught just as many passes as your boy Ty Johnson. Oh, no, got more than your boy Ty Johnson. And
I don't understand what that is
against
anything, but okay.
the New York Jets. A fantastic matchup for somebody who's going to get 20 carries. This is a game built for Damien Harris, assuming we don't hear news that he's in the doghouse after a late fumble. This is a Damien Harris game.
He better find the end zone.
Or bust off 120 yards against a terrible Jets defense.
I know I have Damien Harris pretty high this week in my ranks, but I might have to. Oh my god!
But for the record, though, I have Henderson at 18 and I have Harris at 19. So, but it still is Darrell Henderson. I think it was good to see what Darrell Henderson did last week. You know, I mean, Chicago's run defense is nothing to joke with, especially when they have Akeem Hicks and everything there, as long as he's healthy. And I mean, he played pretty well. And the fact that he got pretty much all the touches and all of the work out of that backfield was super encouraging. Is it going to happen like that every single week? I don't know. I'm sure Sony Michel will get a little more involved as he gets a little bit more activated with the offense. But it was really encouraging to see what Darrell. I mean, if Darrell Henderson is going to get that type of usage and this offense that we love, like. It's hard not to, think of him as a top 15, 18 running back moving forward. So
he got all of the work, had less carries than Damien Harris, and Damien Harris had more receptions than Henderson did.
Yeah, of course. Because, I mean, look how explosive that offense was. I mean, it's not like they were just matriculating the ball down the field and everything else. I mean, that's what's going to happen.
Yeah. Did the offense change? Like that's what they're probably going to do again
because
this week.
we want players, and I want players and really good offense, especially running backs.
Yep.
Right. And so because we want to try to score, and so that's what I want. I prefer because I don't think Damien Harris. You're not going to expect many targets from him every week. Where Darrell Henderson's going to have weeks where he probably gets 6 to 8 targets. Maybe that's probably too high. Probably 5 to 7 targets. 5 to 7. There's going to be some games there.
3 to 5.
It's not going to be everything. But I said there's going to be some weeks there that he gets that kind of opportunity.
Okay, so I'm going to go Harris. Robby, you already gave your second answer. Kev, who are you going with here for the second one? You going with the other running back, or are you going to go with T?
I really want to say Devonta Smith, but I think I'll go with T. Higgins.
JJ, you are my hero, and that was also T. Higgins for me for the second.
That's brutal. Kev, I think you're more than Byron Pringle. You are Mecole Hardman. You are better than that.
You're at least D. Robinson. All right, let's go through some of these. Try and catch up on time. We said we were going to do that. Now we've fallen further behind. We appreciate all you guys rocking with us and being patient. Andrew says QB is Cousins / streaming RB1 Eckler, RB2 Clyde, Adams, Woods, Hawk, Swift, Harris, Connor, Sermon, Edwards, Beasley, Anderson, Latavius Murray, Michael Thomas chilling there in the wings. PPR. Would you make any trades?
No, I wouldn't. I like this team. I think you're good to go.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh my God, this stupid.
Don't trade to trade.
Get this. What happened here? Oh, I just keep getting this bot in here dropping webcam chat crap.
Yeah, I saw something about that in the Discord. I think it was Porsche who threw that in, so that was the second one. So whoever is blocking those, Walito, if that's you,
That's me.
Oh, okay.
As soon as I
Well,
say
Walito, if you could do something and be productive.
Yeah, I mean,
really
you are supposed to be a moderator
that.
in here. Yeah. That's why you have the little thing, and you're not doing anything.
My God.
We need to find some new mods. Let us know if anybody else wants to be the mod in here because we have to do everything.
Yeah, Andrew, you're good. You just had a couple of those guys just give you duds week one. You'll be fine moving forward. Jasper wants to know, who should I start this week, Rodgers or Hurts?
I agree with him that it will be a Rodgers bounce back game. I have Rodgers as QB3, Rodgers for me.
Rodgers for me as well. Kev, I know you like Hurts, but you are now outvoted here, even if you want to say Hurts. Kells 22 coming back. Appreciate you coming in through here. Kells, Anderson or Callaway?
This will be Robby Anderson. Didn't have the targets that I thought he might have week one, but had a very nice long touchdown. I think he has a little bit more target share in week 2.
I already know I'm going to be in the minority, but I'm going Marquez Callaway.
Anderson for me. Marty wants to know, can start 2 to 3 Higgins, Williams, Corley, Sutton.
Dang, this is the trend this week.
First 2 for me.
Yep.
Kev, are you trying to sneak Sutton in there?
Yes.
Over who?
Mike Williams.
Oh, I'll vote again. Fernando wants to know, who should I flex, Sermon or Jacoby? Lost Judy. That sucks. Judy was looking so good too.
But it's not as bad.
It was going to be Judy year.
Not as bad as we thought it would be. Hopefully, right? Hopefully, he comes back in the time frame.
Jacoby like here.
Jacoby. As the Sermon guy, Jacoby.
Walito needs a wide receiver 3 and a flex. So let's get the wide receiver. Marquise, Edwards, Patrick, Deontay Harris, Pascal, Tyrell.
This guy's love for Saints knows no end. It's Marquise Brown for one. Like, we didn't have to read the rest. It's definitely Marquise Brown at wide receiver 3.
Who are you throwing in a flex?
I guess we're going with the Ravens here. It's Tyson Williams.
Yeah, that is the right answer, but I don't.
If you want to get a little wild, I think you can plug in Brian Edwards or Tim Patrick, but if you don't feel like at your flex instead of Tyson Williams, if you don't feel like he's going to get the opportunity.
We did have that little blurb come across today that it seemed like KJ Hamler was the one who was picking up reps in place of Tim Patrick. So would keep that in mind for anyone who's still working waivers, maybe has a Thursday waivers instead of the Wednesday. That is something to definitely note, although Tim Patrick obviously has the history of production on his side and obviously health as well over Hamler. So if you are going to go the second option, it would be Edwards there, but I think Williams is the right call until we see some more from these guys. Because even though Pascal had the better fantasy performance, he had 2 touchdowns on 4 catches or something like that. So, same thing with your boy Juwan Johnson. Walito cannot count on that. Carlito's waiver wide receiver ad for depth: Kirk, Aguilar, Tim Patrick. I like Aguilar here. For depth, I think you're going to feel more comfortable plugging in Aguilar over either of those guys. Again, Kirk had the touchdown, but he had basically the same production as Rondell Moore. I don't know. Like, Kirk has been someone who, I really like coming out as a rookie, but has not been able to put it together. We just touched on Tim Patrick and, KJ Hamler apparently running ahead of him in this first practice anyway. Aguilar, I liked what I saw with him and Jacoby, so I'm going to go Aguilar.
I think Aguilar is your safe pick. I think when you get this far down in your depth, I view it a little differently, Kev. I know we've had this conversation before. When I'm looking at depth, I'm looking at if certain scenarios happen, how can he find my lineup? Because assuming you have 3 or 4 wide receivers in front of these guys, they're not going to crack your starting lineup most weeks. And if anything were to happen to DeAndre Hopkins, I think that's where Kirk can give you some real value, because that's the difference between these two. This guy and the other two is that he's on a pass-first team that's going to throw the ball a lot compared to the Patriots, compared to Denver. I don't know if we see that same, and I don't know what the ceiling is, right? We're projecting. There's a lot of stuff. Kirk has not shown a ton, but I think he'd be the higher upside guy if something were to happen to guys above him.
Kev, who you got?
I think if we're just talking about this list, I think it's Christian Kirk. But I think Anthony Schwartz should be added in more leagues. Like, I watched the whole game. This past week, rookie wide receiver, 3rd-round pick, super explosive. Like, he's won that wide receiver 3 job. Like, I thought it was going to be Donovan Peoples-Jones because the hype we got out of the preseason about him. But Anthony Schwartz looks legit, and I think he is locked in to be that wide receiver 3 there. And obviously Odell is out again this week, and
so weird.
So I think Anthony Schwartz is a guy that people should be talking more about, especially with this offense. And I think an offense, yes, it still is an offense that they want to run the ball, but there's going to be a lot of weeks that they're going to have to throw the ball. And so I think Anthony Schwartz should be on more people's radar, and he's not. And I think that's a mistake. His best comparable is Curtis Samuel, ran a 4.27 at his pro day, if that interests anybody. And so I know you guys are obviously familiar with him in Dynasty, but like just in terms of redraft this year, like I think he should be on people's radar. Like, he has clearly taken over that wide receiver 3 job there. And while I don't mind some of those options that are there, I don't think he even really have much of a ceiling. Like, I think Kirk could end up being like a wide receiver 4, like flex guy that you want to maybe look at every week. But until that, I think AJ Green has to go out of the way for that to happen, because AJ Green still looks like he's dust. And then, Aguilar, he's going to have some weeks, and then Tim Patrick is still only a short-term thing because Jerry Jeudy is it 6 to 8 or is it 4 to 6? Because I've heard it two different things in terms of his timetable. But regardless, he's still going to be back. And so I just think Anthony Schwartz is a really interesting. I wouldn't do it in like a 10-team league or anything. I'm not adding him there. But like if you have a 12-team league and above, and you have like a lot of bench space, I think Anthony Schwartz is in play this week in this matchup. Where he's going to once again be that outside guy. And I mean, they looked for him quite a bit in that game. And so I like Anthony Schwartz. And like I said, I think he's like a low key play this week. I mean, I don't think most people are going to have to do it. If this was bye weeks, everything would be different, but he definitely should be on people's benches, and he should be on more people's radars than what he is.
Tam needs a streaming defense: Saints, Browns, Bucks, or Cards.
I mean, Bucks has to be the answer for me. We already are talking about a fantastic defense. I don't think Matt Ryan is the same. His splits without Julio have been horrendous. Obviously, Julio is not coming back. I'm going to go Bucks here.
Yeah, if Bucks are available, just pick them up and just hold them, and don't worry about streaming for a while there, Tam. Manuel need one wide receiver and a flex, half PPR, already starting Keenan Allen. So we need 2 of these receivers: DJ Moore, Woods, Julio, Higgins.
Well, I mean, Keenan Allen's 1,000. Oh, already
started. Yeah, so we need 2 after Keenan.
So it's DJ Moore and Robert Woods. Or wait a second.
I have more Julio Woods back to back to back.
Yeah, actually, I'm going to change that. Give me Moore and Julio.
Yeah, I think I'll go Moore and Julio there.
Walito skipping over that comment. Did a trade of Matt Ryan, Melvin Gordon, Logan Thomas for Cousins, Barkley, Ebron, but plan on releasing Ebron. Did I win the trade? So let's start there. So traded Matty, Melvin, Thomas for Cousins, Barkley.
No, you absolutely took an L on that.
Really?
No, you got the best player. You got Barkley, so I'm fine with it.
Yeah. I think that's That's a good trade. As someone who's the
I wasn't listening to you. I just read it, and the exclamation point threw me off whenever I saw Cousins. I just saw for Cousins, and I'm like, no, that is a awful deal that you made. But no, okay, yeah, no, that's that, yeah, no.
Punctuation is key in these comments, but we are able to parse through it. Yes, that's a good trade. And then
most weeks I would laugh at you, QGJ here, but unfortunately it is a legitimate question. Barkley or Tyson?
I want Kev to answer first.
This is an easy one. Saquon Barkley.
Oh, I see. You've moved him down finally, but I'm not sure if you moved him down far enough. This one is legitimately tough. This is that breaking point.
I got to go Barkley. But
I got to go Barkley.
It's way closer than it should be. And like I said, I would love to laugh at that question, but unfortunately we can't. Rowan wants to know Tanny or Winston. This is Tannehill. I think they bounce back.
Yeah.
Here we go. Dynasty question. Thank you, Nate. Appreciate this coming in. Kev, take a seat. Should I trade Clyde and Hollywood for Sanders and Chase?
Oh.
Yes.
I think so. So.
Obviously, I love Clyde. Hollywood is a nice piece, but Jamar Chase is going to end up being a top 24 asset probably by, I don't know where he was going in startups this year, but he's going to vault back up if he dropped a little bit, and Sanders I think is going to be good enough. The gap between Hollywood and Chase is much bigger than the gap between Clyde and Clyde and Sanders. So Nate, appreciate the dynasty question, and Robby, I see you shaking your head, so we're gonna go ahead and keep moving on here. Austin wants to know, for a flex, Robbie Anderson, Devonta Smith, Gaskin, Jamal Williams, or we don't even have to worry about Tyson there. So Anderson, Smith, Gaskin, Jamal.
Devonta for me.
Kev?
Yeah.
Do it.
Yeah. Devonta.
Who are you thinking about second?
Gaskin.
Myles Gaskin.
Okay. Brian, appreciate you. We're just out here doing our thing. If you're new to this channel, if you like what we're dropping, please hit that subscribe button. We appreciate it. We're obviously light years away in terms of the subs from the headliners, but we're going to
definitely better content though. Definitely agree on that. There's no doubt.
Yes.
Not even worried about that.
No, not worry about that. That's why I didn't mention it and just talked about the subs. So if you guys could help us catch up, we would truly appreciate it. Discord is also free if you guys want to jump in there. Ryan Hayes, Mixon and Keenan for D-Hop and Swift in a full PPR.
Oh, man. Heavy hitters. This is an adult trade. This is a grown-up trade here.
This is a grown man trade here.
Yes.
Yeah.
Or grown woman trade. Either way, this is a adult trade.
Grown ass trade.
There it is.
I'm gonna say no.
Which side? I don't know what no means.
I want the Mixon and Keenan Allen side.
I think so too. I don't think the split between Keenan Allen and D-Hop I don't think is as big as most people probably think. I obviously am super high on Keenan Allen, but I think that's pretty close. And then, man, Mixon just with the full workload, right? If he stays healthy for one season, we're talking about just a locked and loaded running back 5 or better, I think. So let's go.
Jay has a flex question. DJ Moore, Mooney, Myers, or Shepard? This is DJ Moore across the board. Yes. Yeah. Jack has a trade question here. Do I try and trade Goddard and Golladay for an upgraded wide receiver? I have Higbee as my starting tight end.
You're going to have to wait. I mean, I don't think you're going to get a lot for it. You're going to have to wait until one of those guys goes off.
Or if Ertz is traded or something like that happens.
Yeah.
You can try. Go ahead and try. But you're probably not going to get the return that you want. But obviously with having Higbee and Goddard, that gives you the flexibility to do that. Like I said, I honestly didn't realize that Golladay had as solid of a day as he had, but you're going to need him to go off before people are willing to trust him. A bonus random question. Can't listen to one for the rest of your life. This is easy. It's the Drake one. This is flashing lights, a lot of beers, a lot of herbal medication to that song. Drake is one of the most overrated of all time. I'm just going to say that.
Ooh. I wasn't ready for that.
If I can't listen to one, I don't even have to think about it.
I would reel that back in just as a tad, and I'd say this is one of his more overrated songs. Like, he has a lot of good tracks, a lot of good albums. This one was one of his early ones and one of his worst, if you ask me.
Kev, can't listen to one rest of your life.
I guess I'm just going to go with Drake.
You're damn right. I know it's been a while, sweetheart. We hardly talk. I've been doing my thing.
Get it.
Sorry, that song just started playing in my head. I'm not sure. Did something happen to D-Law, Robby?
Yeah, so Lawrence is questionable for week 2 right now. Yep, not great outings the first couple of weeks for the Cowboys. We will see if he's available.
Already got to this one. Apologies for the delay. Trying to catch up here. Patrick or Kirk?
Kirk.
Kev, you want to give a quick answer on this one?
I wear many hats. All of them are at the head of the table. Okay. The CEO here. And I'm also the head coach of my son's 11U baseball team. And so, I go and rule the world there, and then I come here and I rule the world there. So,
Tua or Dalton, Kev?
Fucking neither.
No, yeah. There's got to be a better option here.
Is there any other options? If I don't have any other option, I guess.
Yeah, DJ, let us know what your.
I guess I'm gonna go Tua.
Yeah, DJ, let us know what your waiver options look like. Unless maybe this is a super flex and we need that QB2, would be the only way that I want to answer this with you, those guys. If it is a super flex, I would go Tua. But if this is just a 1 QB league, let us know your other waiver options if you're still rocking with us. Should I start Eli Mitchell over Saquon?
Yes.
No. Yeah.
Yes. For all the reasons you stated earlier, Kev, for week 1, as much as I said there's a scenario where Sermon could be the lead back, I can see an equal chance that Elijah Mitchell gets 12 to 15 carries, and he's more efficient than the 10 to 12 carries that Saquon's going to get, being limited off of a couple days rest, limited practice for 3 weeks, tough defense. Elijah Mitchell for sure.
All right. I got to scroll back up here to find Miles. I feel like I just passed it. Okay. This is a flex question. The one who had the 4 Steelers looking to get rid of Juju. Looking to trade Juju away. Okay. Who do I go for?
So Juju had an okay week. I'm not sure if this is another wait and see, because I do think the Steelers have a better matchup here against the Raiders. So maybe see what happens there. And if some of these other guys pop, you can probably get more for your trade. So I'd say wait till week 2 is done. But then if you're trading Juju, I don't know, guys. Where is he looking at? Javonte Williams range of players? Is that where he's looking at? James Robinson. I know, Cody, you said you're a little bit nervous with that, but I think that's Chase Edmonds. That's probably the running back range that you're going to get back for a Juju. If you can get Miles Sanders, if Miles Sanders has a bad week, he had a good yardage last week, but he didn't find the end zone. If he has a down week, man, maybe you can buy low on a Miles Sanders if Juju pops this week. I think that's the range that's attainable.
I don't think most people really view Juju in a really positive light, and so I don't think you'd be able to get Miles Sanders for him unless you.
I don't think people view Miles Sanders in a positive light either.
Yeah,
those are both guys who.
That one was a stretch. Yeah.
Well,
you'd have to have a down Sanders week, up Juju week, maybe add in a little sweetener, but it's possible. Wait a week, come back to us, talk to us next week.
Sensei, I love Budda Baker. I have him on 2 of my IDP teams, but I mean, come on. This is, hey, sometimes you just have to walk into a room, flex, say, look at me, flash your jewels, and then just walk out. And that's what you just did here. So good for you. All right, CMC and Saquon, Adams, Metcalf, good for you. Good for you. Sports Films joining us again. Traded Judy and Devonta Smith for Gordon, Reagor, Boyd. A letter grade on that trade.
D-.
Mm-hmm. Now we have to remember Judy's obviously missing quite a bit of time.
I wouldn't trade Gordon, Reagor, and Boyd for Devonta Smith. Straight up.
Depends on team situation, but yes, I would still say Smith is obviously the most valuable asset here. There's some Boyd love. But I think Melvin Gordon. I don't think Melvin Gordon's trajectory is up, right, guys? Like I think it's going to plateau, and eventually, second half of the season, it's going to tank. Opposite of that, Devonta Smith, who comes out really well week 1, I think he can only get better from here. So I'm not loving it. I'm gonna say probably a D.
Yeah, I don't want to pile on there, Sport. Kev, I'm gonna throw this one.
You piled on by calling him Sport, you dick.
Sport Films Production. I just shortened it up.
I gotcha. I thought you were the 10-year-old. Hey, Sport.
Yeah, wasn't giving a pile there. Kev, throwing this one to you. We're going to try and go through a couple of these and get caught up for the 18th time. I'm going to say this during the show. Okay. Robby, Sutton or Cooks, rest of season, full PPR?
Sutton.
James Robinson or Gaskin for the RB2, Kev?
James Robinson.
Robby, throwing this one to you. Best flex and a half PPR, Shepard, Cooks, Debo.
I'm going to stick with Debo here.
Rico, throwing this one to you, Kev. 10-man full PPR, Dak, Hunt, Robinson, Adams, Lamb, Kelsey, Landry, Koo, Bucks. Season winner. Your RBs scare the shit out of me.
Yeah, you need another running back. I would be working the waiver wire hard to try to acquire another running back because I think Kareem Hunt is going to be very hit or miss. And so, yeah, you need another running back. But overall, I mean, other than that, I mean, Javonte, Adams, Kelsey, Lamb, I don't know how you got all those, but great job there.
I'm assuming probably in 10-man went Kelsey and Adams in the first, came around with Lamb.
Excellent. I mean, that's excellent. So other than that, I think
real quick, who would you trade out of those receivers? Who would you be looking to trade away? Because you're gonna have to trade one of those in order to bring up those running backs.
I don't think you trade. I don't think that's the move. I think you just work the waiver wire and try to have some foresight, try to follow the touches, okay, and the snaps, and start to see if some guys start to get some opportunities, and you work the waiver wire.
Going to throw this one to you, Robby. These are guys that we talked about in the tight end show. Jonnu or Cook?
I think Jonnu is fine. He has a really good matchup, but I'm going to go Jared Cook. I really liked his involvement, and I love his matchup.
Kev, would you trade Ayuk and Tyson for CeeDee Lamb?
Yes.
Yes, a million times do that. Anthony, we are all starting Rodgers in week 2. Bounce back, against a Detroit Lions defense that was bad to begin with, and now they don't have Jeff Okuda. Just traded Mixon and Debo for Ridley and Cooper Kupp today. Which side do you like, Kev?
I think the Calvin Ridley side is probably better on the surface. I just would be curious who you now have at running back, because what hole did you just create by getting Calvin Ridley and Cooper Kupp? Did you need them? Because now, if you're now left with a massive hole, at running back, that you could end up being in trouble. But if you have other good running back options, then no, I think he killed it, because I think Calvin Ridley right now is one of the easier buy lows because people are just low on him because of the performance he had, and so that's what I'm always looking for.
Agreed. Robby, Shenault, Ayuk, Juju, rank them.
This week, I'm going to go Juju, Ayuk, then Shenault.
TVB. I think we all like Shepard to an extent. Obviously, temper your expectations. It was probably a ceiling game for him last week. But again, if he's going to be playing in the slot, the strength on that defense is on the outside corner. So Shepard should still be looking at a solid role tomorrow night. I like him. Let us know if you have any particular questions that you're looking to start him over, and we can help you out there. Kev, this one for Ashton. Higgins, AB, or Landry?
Higgins.
Robby, throwing this one to you since you do the projections. Do we think Will Fuller will hurt Myles Gaskin's passing targets?
A loaded question. Yes, he caps it, but I think Myles Gaskin will still see his normal 3 to 5 targets per game. I don't think. No, compared to week 1 to week 2, I don't think he's losing anything. We just should have projected Will Fuller to be in this offense for most of the year. So no, I think he's going to be fine.
We need 3 running backs here for Anthony, Kev, for Team 1. Barkley, Mixon, Sanders, or Damian and Mitchell.
Mixon's locked in. So we need 3. Then Sanders, and then Barkley.
I would put in Damian over Barkley.
Yes.
Team 2, Kev, I'm going to throw this one back to you. Davis or Jacoby?
Corey Davis.
Robby, we need to drop one for Sensei, Edmonds, or Gaskins.
He's got to drop one? Oh, man. I'm going to keep the guy on the better offense. I'm going to keep Chase Edmonds. I'm going to drop Myles Gaskin.
Can I ask why? Can I ask why? Can you answer why you have to drop one of them? I'd like to know why you have to drop one of them.
Yeah.
Yep,
I know Brian, talking with him, for whatever reason, there are leagues out there where you can only have a certain amount of running backs. Like certain amount of per position. So I don't know. He was sending me some of his stuff. I said, hey, drop this guy, go pick up this other guy. He's like, well, I have to have, this many of this many of that. So, hey, Raylan's trying to step up here for Walito. Look for Walito.
You guys were hammering him for a hot second.
Well, hey, whenever he's sitting here and he's the mod, he deserves it. He needs to be on top of this. We're trying to help the folks. And the people don't want to see webcam girls, and bots and viruses with titties. No one wants to see that. J Rose wants to know Chase or Davis, Kev.
Chase.
Emmanuel. Hey, appreciate that sub. If you would all follow Emmanuel's lead here, if you're not subscribed, please do that for us. Hit us with a like as well.
Getting close to that 2K.
Coming up on it. We're getting there. We're getting there. The growth slowed down a little bit, but now it started to pick back up today. So, love to see it. Robby, we have a 12-team half-point PPR, 1 quarterback, 1 running back, 1 wide receiver, 3 flex, defense, and kicker. Kyler, Tyreek, Diggs, Sutton, Davis, Galladay, assuming Robby, Anderson, Pittman, Montgomery, Harris, Tyson, Davis, Gainwell. So obviously I'm only seeing 1 quarterback there. Let's get
That's great.
Let's get the hey, when you have Kyler, you don't need another one. 1 running back, so Monty, Harris, Tyson, Williams, Davis, Gainwell.
Oh yeah, it's Monty.
1 wide receiver, Tyreek, Diggs, Sutton, Davis, Galladay, Robby, Pittman.
Yep.
3 flex.
We're going Diggs, Harris, and probably Corey. Sutton and Corey Davis are close. I might actually say Sutton there. I think he's more involved with Judy out. I will go Sutton.
Kev, do you have a strong feeling on that last one? I saw you nodding your head up until the last pick there. Are you going a different direction for that last flex?
I would go Sutton.
I have a different opinion, so I won't throw mine out there. Marty wants to know Baker or Cousins. This is Cousins across the board.
Really good week for Cousins, I think.
Any thoughts on Sermon? What's going on with him? Robby, the floor is yours.
Yeah, surprise and active kind of took us all by shock. I think Mostert going out is probably one of the best things that could happen because they've kind of forced the hand of Shannon. He has to be active. So I do think he works in probably maybe a little bit slower than most of us would like who have Sermon on the team. I think he is probably the lead back here in a couple of weeks, but it might not be. It might be splitting instead of Mostert Sermon. It's probably Mitchell Sermon for a while, but I do think Sermon will eventually take the backfield.
Already answered this one. Jamie, I don't think you asked this, but we had the same question. This is Tanny here. Kev, throwing this one to you being the Javonte stan. Murdoch wants to know, doesn't know why or how, but has both Denver running backs. Would you start both over Clyde?
I would not.
Which Denver running back are you playing?
I think I'm going to go with Javonte.
And then we need a flex answer here between Chark, Waddle, Juju, McLaurin, Devontae, Parker, or Hines.
It's McLaurin, yeah.
Robby, Jamie has another question. Should I put in Julio Jones or Chase Edmonds in the flex?
I think I'm going to go Julio here.
Allen or Winston, Kev?
Josh Allen.
We already got this one. Nick, like I said, sorry for lagging behind here. You said Cook, right, Robby?
Yep.
Kev, Julio or AB?
Julio.
Look at Porsche coming through.
Yeah.
I knew that comment was going to come, but see, the problem is that people's shows didn't get any targets. It didn't really run that many routes either. He only ran like 4 more routes than Anthony Schwartz did, but played, obviously, almost 30% less snaps.
Well, that's because they run the football in 12 personnel. So every time he's out there and they do a run play and Schwartz is on the bench, you know what I mean? Like that.
But one got a 3% target share and the other one got an 18% target share.
Right. But 1 week, I think that's the one thing I was going to say, and then we were spending too much time on it. I don't think it's as locked as loaded. He's the for sure wide receiver 3. We've seen 1 week of it. I don't think we're rushing out to get Anthony Schwartz. Keep him on the radar. I just pump a little bit of the brakes. Let's see it for 2 weeks first.
See, we don't have to do that. We don't have to wait and see it for things to happen. That's the wrong way to play fantasy football.
But what happens when Odell comes back, though?
I still think that he's.
I know they played completely. They're completely different players, but I'm going to assume that Schwartz doesn't see the same amount of targets with Odell in the field.
On a run first team, I mean, he's questionable to even pick up now, and if Odell's back in it, it's a no-go. I think there's a lot of other waiver wire options that you'd rather have than Schwartz. Because that's the flip side of it, Kev. If you're picking up Anthony Schwartz, you have to drop somebody like Tony Jones Jr. or something like that to pick him up. And so I think that's where you have to weigh it. And most of the time, you're going to say, no, I'd rather keep the guy that's on my bench. Unless the guy got injured or you have an IR spot, you're most likely not dropping the guy for a deepest of deep flyers. 1 week of a success.
Is it really
Or
that
moderate?
deep? Is it really that deep of a? They're Mr. Draft Capital guys. I mean, he was a 3rd round pick this year, right? I mean, so it's not like we're talking about some undrafted guy who just come out of nowhere.
Yeah, I mean, if he was on a pass first team and he was higher on the depth chart, absolutely. He's just farther down the depth chart on a team that just runs the football first down, second down, and if they are able to on 3rd down.
We'll see. We'll see what happens. I'm going to win, though.
Kev, throwing this one at you from Rosemary. Pick 2 and a flex full PPR. Shepard, Cook, Chase, Harris.
Chase and Harris.
My stance is already known here, coming from Porsche. Appreciate Porsche always keeping the Discord active as well. Robby, Aguilar, Callaway, Watkins in the flex PPR.
Watkins. I don't mind Aguilar this week, but probably Watkins.
Revenge game, baby. Let's go.
It's Callaway.
It isn't. I don't get the
Callaway
stain on Callaway.
What was wrong with him?
What was good with him first?
Well, I mean, they didn't throw the ball. I mean, what, they throw it 20 times?
They threw it 20 times and they threw to him twice.
I mean, it wasn't really a big sample size. Would we agree?
That's fine, but like he also didn't do anything. Like if you were telling me,
he didn't have to do anything. That's the problem. And it was a tough. I mean, it still was a tough matchup for their defense, right? I mean, for the defense there, for the matchup that he was going to see, and so I have Callaway at 36 this week, and I feel pretty I feel pretty good about it.
Yeah, too high for me.
Kev, Godwin or AJB?
AJ Brown.
OG Dubs traded McLaurin for Davis. Was that a mistake? Yes. I feel like we probably don't have to read the rest of this, but that was probably still a mistake. Aaron Jones, Swift, Deontay, Tyreek Hill in my RB wide receiver. Need a flex. Davis, Edmonds, Myers, Singletary, Gronk, Cook. That could have been McLaurin in your flex.
Yeah.
Yeah, Dubs. That was the opposite of a dub here on this one.
If we can help him, though, I would sit Davis this week for sure. I'm playing one of your other options. I'm not playing Davis this week.
No, who are you going to go with here?
Who's the Edmonds? Why am I blanking on
Chase?
Chase. I'm playing Chase.
Look at this. Raylan already doing a better job than you, Walito. I think we need to switch roles here. Tam is saying Bucks not available now, so still need a defense. Texans absolutely not. Seahawks, Cards, Saints, Browns. I would go with the Browns here out of this group. At home, going up against Tyrod.
I don't know if it is, though, because thinking about it when it comes to defenses, like he's so risk averse, he's not going to make any mistakes. So he's not going to really throw any interceptions. I mean, sacks, some sacks could be there, but I mean, what we're really looking for every week is the touchdown, right? And being able to do that. And he's not going to bring that for you. And so unless they're able to sack the quarterback, kind of a little bit similarly to what Arizona did, but so I don't know if it is the Browns. I mean, I get the matchup on paper and everything else would indicate that, but I don't think it is. I think the Saints make a little bit more sense, and I really don't. I mean, I don't really mind the Cardinals either.
I mean, I don't think Tannehill's a big turnover guy either.
No, one of the fewest, and that game just has a massive over/under. I think Browns are going to be my choice here.
See, so it's the same. No, go ahead, and I'll also say go ahead. I didn't mean to cut you off.
No, you're good. I just think the Browns here. I think there's a lot of truth to what you said. I don't think Tyrod, they're going to create a lot of turnovers, but I don't think they generate a lot of points, and I do think they can get some sacks. None of these defenses I see, breaking it out and getting 20 points for a defense. So if you're talking about most of these teams are going to score 8 points, Browns are most likely to hit the 8 to 10 points for me here.
So the thing I was going to say really quickly is when it comes to defense, because it's very similar. It's a week-to-week game, right? So it's very similar to DFS. So it's kind of like what we talked about with that quite a bit. So when it comes to defenses, it's not actually a bad thing to target defenses that are going to be high scoring, right? People look at that and like, oh no, I don't want to do that because there's going to be a lot of points scored. But that's really the opposite, because what we're looking for is those opportunities. So with high scoring, more plays being called, it brings in that, because touchdowns are so random anyways, and when it comes to defenses, right? And so the more opportunities you get, the better it is. And so it's actually not a bad thing to target games with high totals. Like high totals don't really matter when it comes to this. We're looking for the most opportunities you can. And so, that's the way I look at it.
Kev, would you trade Zeke and Ridley for Jones and Diggs?
Yes.
Robby, coming to you on this one. Have Tyson, Rondell, Gainwell, Jones, Parker, Sermon. What's a realistic trade I can make for a flex player in a full PPR?
I mean, if you can move off of Tyson, I think he's a good guy to maybe. I don't know if you're selling high, but you're selling a guy that's a name. He was, the hotness for week 1. A lot of these other names, I don't know if they're bringing a lot of appeal right now. Maybe Parker for somebody who goes off of the box score. Maybe you can flip those two and get a. I don't know. Juju is kind of
Sterling Shepard.
And I wouldn't even. Yeah,
wait for Sermon to pop. Sermon's going to have a game within the next couple of weeks where he shows up well. He out-touches Eli Mitchell. Something like that is going to happen. Like I said, with the news coming out about the Ravens, Tyson Williams is taking a hit. Rondell Moore didn't find the end zone. Gainwell did, but he only had 11 touches. Jones only had 11 touches. So wait until one of those guys pop and then try and package them with a lower player and, go out like a Juju, a Shepard or something like that. As of right now, you're not going to be able to reach much higher than what you already have.
Real quick.
And yeah,
Cody, can I just say, going back to that one just for a second, I actually like his flexes. I don't know if you have to trade. I think some of these guys, again, we're talking about trajectory. What's Rondell Moore going to do now compared to later in the year? I think his trajectory is up. Same with Gainwell. Tony Jones, he's one injury away. I like Sermon. I think he can absolutely be a flex later in the year. So I don't know if you have to make a move. There's one guy that I think the trajectory is not up, Tyson Williams. But I think you'll have some flexes. They're not there right now.
Nate, appreciate that. Appreciate that a lot. Appreciate all you guys for supporting us. Kev, throwing this one to you. Full PPR, Beasley or Javonte?
I think I'm going to go with Beasley. I just think he's a little – yeah, I'm going to go with Beasley in a full PPR.
Yeah, I like Beasley and the matchup here as well. Oh, went too far. Sorry, trying to find where we were just at. We didn't get this one. Did we get this one?
I don't think so. That's the one I popped back from. Yeah.
Oh yeah. Saquon, Clyde, Tyson, Hunt. Which two does OQ start here, Kev?
Sorry, did we block the bot attack again? Did we get that?
Okay,
yeah, I tried to and it just told me that there was an error, so I'm assuming we did.
Yep.
Okay. So Hilaire is a definite. I'm gonna go with Saquon.
Yeah, you can't. My God, for whatever reason, I was just thinking Hunt and Clyde were on the same team. I was going to say you can't double up, but that is not correct. I think I might go Clyde and Hunt on that one.
I will as well.
There's definitely risk with him, right? But I mean, he's still he still had 68% of the opportunities in the backfield last week, which is not far off from where he normally is. I will say this is not a good matchup. And the plan always with him was always going to be, and you should have, when you drafted him, know that these first 2 weeks were going to be rough because of just the matchup, the pure matchups that he's facing. But after this week, like next week, next week is a great matchup. And I think that's when he really gets back to being, okay, now we're good to go. And he'll get that long break after Thursday night football and everything else. And so the plan always was Saquon, and I'm just everybody that's in here asking Saquon questions. You should not start to panic if he does not do well this week again. And if you want to go another direction, I understand. It's more about risk tolerance for me. If you're going to start him or not. If you want to sit him, you have other options, go ahead. Because it very well could be another week just like he had last week, and people are going to view it as the sky is falling. And if it was me, I would be going out wherever I could after this week if he has another bad week and try to acquire him because he is going to be very cheap because people are going to think that he's done. And I think that's a big mistake. The plan was always for the second half of the season for him and the playoffs and everything else where it was going to come from. So first 2 weeks, it's going to be rough. If you don't want to start him, I totally get it.
Mike, Rager is a hold. Finally saw some promise from him in this last game. Jamie, if you don't want to stack them, I think you could just drop Logan Thomas. To be completely honest, you could probably pick up. There's probably a solid waiver option. Or wait until Logan Thomas scores a touchdown. Look for the person in your league who has been streaming tight end and see if you can make a trade there. I would not be trading away McLaurin, and you're probably also not going to get somebody to take that stack off your hands if you're looking to trade both of them away. So, like I said, I think you can drop Thomas, stream tight end, or wait until Thomas has a game. I think that you could play both of them tomorrow as well and feel okay about it. So I don't think it's a move you have to do now. Walito coming through and just straight up brown nosing, trying to get that trying to get that admin spot in check. Not going to work, buddy. You already lost it. Matt Reagan, try trade Sanders for Zeke. Yes. If you can do that, please do. Let us know how it goes. Gator fan, Kevin, the throws one to you in a full PPR redraft. Would you trade Ridley and either Carson or Clyde for Tyreek and either Jacobs or Gaskin? I would not.
I think if I did, it would be for Tyreek and Gaskin. Or not Tyreek and Gaskin, but for Gaskin would be the guy that I would want in the trade. But
I don't think I can do it.
I just don't think I can give up one of those running backs. Because I think Ridley and Tyreek, I definitely would rather have Tyreek than Ridley. But it's not like a massive gap between the two of them either. And so losing one of them running backs, you just can't do it. Yeah.
Yep.
Robby, Clyde, or which Harris? James, or I guess, all right, Clyde or Damian?
It's going to be Clyde for both. I do have Najee right next to Clyde, so that one is close. But again, with the tiebreaker, let's take the pass-catching running back on the better offense.
Kev, Mr. Wong is thinking about picking up Landry and dropping Tyler Boyd. Other wide receivers are Adams, Julio, Cooks, and Callaway. I'm going to remove myself from the conversation. So, Kev, what do you got?
I think it's a very similar situation. I would rather have Boyd, though, I think. Just on a much higher volume passing offense.
Would you drop either Cooks or Callaway to pick up Landry?
Yeah, you're dropping Callaway for sure. This is not – you're dropping Callaway and not Tyler Boyd. There's a chasm of 2 tiers between them. Do not drop Tyler Boyd. Marquez Callaway.
No, you don't drop Tyler Boyd.
Yeah. He's asking –
Are we talking about Jared Cooks?
He's going to pick up Landry. He has to drop somebody.
Yeah, I know. Are we talking about Jared Cooks?
No,
Jarvis Landry. Jarvis Landry is who he wants to pick.
I'm talking about the players that he has on his bench is what I'm talking
about. Yeah, the other wide
receivers.
receivers.
Yeah.
Brandon Cooks.
So it's Brandon.
Yeah.
Okay. Kev, Rico wants to know, give this a rate Allen, Najee, Carson, Diggs, Deontay, Chase, Hawk.
I think it's like a, it's a solid,
Numbers
8.8 team. 8.8 out of 10.
Letter. Where's he going here?
There we go. Robby, Anthony is planning on playing Gaskin over Robinson, so I'm assuming that's James, and playing Landry in the flex with Robinson on the bench. Good with that?
I wouldn't do that, but I think if he's down with it, absolutely rock it. I would do Robinson over Gaskin, but we're here to give you advice. But if you like that lineup, take that lineup.
Okay, here's the rest of that team, Kev, from Rico. Callaway, Sermon, Pittman, Jacoby, Tyson, drop Lat Murray for Eli. Brian, appreciate the love. Appreciate all of you guys. Kev, another one here. This one from Kyle. Full PPR, Higbee or Goddard this week?
Rest of yeah.
I mean, there's season with Goddard.
What about this week?
Also Goddard.
Robby, Rick needs help with the flex. Davis or J-Rob full PPR?
Oh, man. Close, but I'm apparently the James Robinson guy this week. I'm going to go James Robinson here.
I would go Davis here. Kev, Davis or your boy J-Rob in a full PPR?
Yeah, I'd go James Robinson.
Kev, back to you. Need two here for James. Saquon, Hunt, Mixon.
Mixon and Saquon.
Here we go. Drop one from Sensei. Edmonds, Gaskin, Jones, or Terrace Marshall.
Oh, then just drop Marvin Jones.
Yeah, probably. Yeah.
TVB, I see you're throwing in your team there, but I cannot remember for the life of me what was going on with that. I'll try to get to that once we get a little bit of a longer question. But Raylan traded AB for Evans today. Also got Andrews for Burrow. How do we feel about it? Andrews for Burrow, I like. Assuming you had another solid, QB1 option there. I do think better days are ahead for Andrews, and AB for Evans. I feel like it's just kind of a toss and a wash up, or a wash up, a toss up and a wash. So do you guys have any other thoughts on that? I'm gonna try and find.
I think that's a good sell high on AB, buy low on Mike Evans. He should be better than AB most weeks, I would say.
Oh my God, this is so far up. Oh, okay. Shepard tomorrow night for TVB. So the other options were Deontay as flex, Robert Woods, AJ Brown, other wide receivers. Also have DJ Moore on the bench. DJ Moore over Shepard.
Yes.
RBs are Dalvin and Gibson. Good for you. Good for you, Van Beek. Travis has one here. Kev, throwing this one to you. Should I start Mike Williams with Herbert instead of Scary Terry because I have Logan Thomas, tight end standard? Thank you.
I mean, I'm still starting Terry McLaurin.
Appreciate that, Walito. You're starting to come back up. You're working your way back up from the basement. Appreciate the recognition here. Appreciate all you guys. Noel has a question here: Goddard or Jonnu in a full PPR?
Johnny.
Kev, Noel's second question here. Start 2 wide receivers and a flex. Cup, Higgins, AB, McLaurin, Jacoby.
So Cup and Higgins are locked in.
And what are we doing at flex? Gordon,
We'll go
Henderson, McLaurin.
I'm going to go with Henderson.
Robby, Davis, Watkins, Ingram, or Patrick in the flex? Do it. Say it. Say it.
No. Oh my gosh. I mean, there's a certain point. Probably Sammy Watkins.
Let's
Good
fucking
night.
go.
Where are we?
Let's go. We're in Sammy's season is where we're at. Kev, this one from Phantom Beast. Jacoby or Mooney, 2 of your guys.
Jacoby.
Robby, should Griffin trade Boyd for Shepard?
Nope.
Herbert or Baker Mayfield? I will take this one. I think this is going to be a clean sweep for all of us. This is Herbert. KK Beats. I did not see your original question. I just saw something about, let me get the rest of your lineup.
He's got a question further down. We can get to it.
Okay.
Just keep going.
Kev, rate this for Anthony, Wilson, Julio, Corey, CMC, Mixon, Kittle, Hunt, Edmonds in a 2 flex league. And the bench is Sutton, Burrow, Marvin Jones, Myers. Do you have 3 quarterbacks here? Am I reading that? Who would be the other Murray?
Latavius,
yeah. Okay. All right. Okay.
I mean, this is excellent. I mean, Kittle, great team. I'd say this is a good, solid, 9-1 squad. Just drop Joe Burrow or trade him if you can package him for something, a smaller thing. There's no reason to keep both of them.
Yeah, drop Burrow, pick up another wide receiver because you're obviously set with your running backs. There, since a 12-player league, including a defensive player, CMC, Saquon, Adams, Metcalf, Lockett, Murray. Okay.
We saw this one. Yep.
Yeah, we saw this one.
Yep.
IDP question. I don't know if we are qualified to answer this one. Emmanuel, hopefully we do not lose your sub that we just got. Would you drop Schobert and pick up Kenneth Murray? Do we believe Schobert will be better season long with a new team? From West Africa, appreciate you. Appreciate that, coming from across the pond, so to speak. I've not been my IDP leagues are pretty set, to be honest. I really don't look for much when it comes to waivers because we start 1 defensive lineman, 1 linebacker, 1 defensive back, and I think we have 1 or 2 flex spots. I think we have 5 total IDPs. So anytime that I'm looking at this, I always look at snap counts. That is the biggest thing here for me. Schobert, I don't, being a Pittsburgh native, I don't know. I know whenever he came in, they were already planning on giving him the helmet with the sticker on it. So which tells me he's going to be a 3-down guy. They were expecting him to kind of take over the middle of that defense. But Murray is also going to be that. I think you look at the snap counts. If you go to Pro Football Reference, go to where it says like NFL scores, you'll see all the box scores. Then go and look, and you can see the snap counts for all of these teams. Just go and look and see which one. I don't know how the snaps played out between these two. I know.
100% on defense for Murray, and then 78 for Schobert.
So if Schobert's still sitting there, he's probably going to be there for a little bit. So I would just hold on to Murray for right now. If he's playing all those snaps, middle of the defense, obviously it's what Schobert's going to do as well. But I would just hold for now until we get a little bit better of an idea. Because obviously they do have some depth on defense now where they can rotate some of these guys. in and out. Here we go from KK. Pick 3. Kev, who you got here? Sanders, Hunt, Gordon, Hines.
Sanders is for sure. And then I'm going to go with Hunt and Hines.
I like it. Robby, Julio or Waddle at the flex?
Like Waddle. Don't like him this much yet. Julio.
Kev, would you try and trade Swift for Gibby?
Yeah.
Yeah, you can. I mean, after that last week, you might be able to get a little cherry on top of that Gibson Sunday. Okay, now I see why Sensei threw that back in as to why I had to drop one of those guys. Still don't know who you're picking up. Oh, because of the trade. Okay, I get it now. So who did we say we were dropping?
Between those two, Gaskin.
No, it was he had a big old list.
Yeah, there were a couple other ones he threw in there as well. It was Edmonds, Gaskin, Marvin Jones, or Terrace Marshall.
That's we said Marvin Jones.
Dak, Brady, Rodgers this week. Chad, I hope you don't have all 3 of these. Chad, don't do this to us. Don't do this to us, Chad.
Oh, my God.
So let's answer the question first.
I have Aaron Rodgers the highest, but, man, you're telling me Brady gets Atlanta. That's fantastic as well. Probably Rodgers is my number 1 there.
Rodgers for me as well. Chad, trade or drop 2 of those other guys. Should be able to trade them, or maybe we're missing something here. But if this is a 1 QB league, there's no reason for you to have 3 of them. Shay wants to know PPR, Evans, Debo, AJ Brown, Claypool, CD. We need 2 wide receivers. Well, we need 3 out of this group. Kev, who are you going with?
Well, AJ Brown and CD are locks. That's easy there. So then it comes down to Evans, Debo, and Claypool for the wide receiver 3.
I would go Evans.
I'm gonna go Debo, but it's really close. I have Debo at 21 and Mike Evans at 22.
Kev, are you dropping Gage for Schwartz?
Yeah, I think you can do that. That's fine.
Robby, flex in a PPR, Henderson, Woods, Davis, Deontay, Jones, or Davis, and we only need 1 of those for Benjamin.
Woods.
Kev, Clyde or Javonte?
It's Clyde.
Foster, appreciate you coming back. I'm glad we did not we did not disrespect you too much from last week. Robby, Visca, Henderson, Jamal, Dub.
Henderson.
Another one here, Kev, coming back to you from Marcello, AB or Thielen?
I'm going to go with Thielen.
Going to give you this again from Marcello, Carr or Winston, waiver wire QB2.
Winston.
Going to you for this one, Robby. Do I start Kittle or Gronk?
I think you still roll Kittle. Gronk is a fantastic play, but Kittle.
And then, Kev, would you bench A-Rob for Mike Williams? Robby, would you bench A-Rob for Mike Williams?
Absolutely not. I think A-Rob is primed to go off.
Robby, coming back to you, would you trade Tyson Williams and Ayuk for CD Lamb? We got this already, right?
I don't think so. No, we've had a couple of trades 2-for-1s with Tyson involved. This is kind of how you do it. I think you take 2 wide receivers who were close to start the year, toss on the hot name from week 1. Yeah. Get it done.
Kev, Clyde or Shepard at the flex?
CH.
Anderson or Callaway? We were split on that. We had 2-1 for Anderson over Callaway. We're starting to get there.
I see the bottom.
There is light at the end of this question tunnel. Robby, for this one for Tim in the flex, Sutton, Debo, Aguilar, or another Shepard question? PPR.
Debo.
Kev, Ayuk, Visca, or Mike Williams?
I'm gonna go Ayuk.
I would go Williams there. I think Robby, you're with me as well. Magical, welcome to the magical realm of Dynasty. If there's anything we can help you with, Robby and I are Dynasty guys at heart. So jump in the Discord. We have a whole entire Dynasty channel devoted to that. You can drop your questions on any of the YouTube channels as well. But welcome to the beauty of Dynasty. Gator fan has another question here, Kev. Throwing this one to you. Would you trade Kyler Murray for Brady and Lockett?
I mean, do you need a wide receiver? Like, I don't know. Like, I don't want to trade Kyler for Brady at all. The rushing upside is what makes him so intriguing. You know, like, kind of like we've talked about. Like, you look at Brady last year, and Brady had a great year, but was still only like wide quarterback 10, you know, because he doesn't provide that rushing upside. And so I don't want to move Kyler Murray if I don't have to. So if you need a wide receiver, I mean, I think Brady and Lockett, I think is fair value. I think that's a good trade. But if Gator, you don't need a wide receiver, I'm not making the move.
Yeah, Gator, let us know what the rest of your roster looks like there. If you need a wide receiver, I'm fine with making it. But like Kev was saying, there's just so much more upside with Kyler there. Magical, welcome back. Welcome to Dynasty, and welcome back to Fantasy in general. We're glad to have you. Did we get this one from Tim yet? Sutton, Debo, Aguilar? I know Tim just asked a question. I can't remember if this is the same one. Yes, he did. So Sutton, Debo, Aguilar. Then he threw in Shepard as well. We said Debo, and then Higbee or Cook, Robby.
I'm rolling the dice. Give me Jared Cook.
Shay, appreciate you guys joining us and rocking with us. Hit that subscribe button if you have not done that yet. Give us a like as well. Anthony's being offered McLaurin and Everett for Kittle. No backup at tight end. Well, one, good job. You should not have a backup with having Kittle. Would you be making that trade going all the way down from Kittle all the way down to Everett, but picking up McLaurin in the process?
I think you can stream and still get the production. You're not going to get Kittle production, but you can get top 7, top 8 production most weeks if you stream right, and keep McLaurin. I don't think I would do this. I think it's fair. It's probably pretty close, but I don't think it makes your team better in the long run. Keep listening. We have streamer articles. Cody, you just came out. It was Cook and Komet, I think, were your two, and they're both definitely on waivers. I like them both way over Everett. That evens that gap a little bit, and you keep McLaurin.
Kev, J-Rob, Tyson, or Eli Ja? RB2, who you got?
I'm going to go with Mitchell.
I would go Mitchell here as well. Robby, we need to drop one here for James. Parker, Myers, or Pollard? I'm dropping Parker.
Yeah, is it Parker? I think it's Parker.
It's Parker. Gasecki or Gronk at the tight end one spot. For me, this is Gronk.
Gasecki let me down. 0 receptions on 2 targets. He's in the doghouse right now. This is Gronk.
Jamal Williams or James White in a full PPR here from Big Luke.
In a different matchup for James White, I think this is James White for me, but I'll go Jamal Williams here.
Jamal for me as well. Kev, coming to you for this next one, so be ready. Put that game face on. Sorry, I was trying to find the next one here. Antonio threw me off with saying I have Kamara and Monty. I was like, oh my god, might have to scroll. There we go. Rapture, Higgy and Claypool here. Bruno. Robby, coming to you for this one. We need a flex and a half PPR. Ayuk, Pittman, Elijah Moore, Marshall, Edwards, Singletary, Ingram. Say it.
No. Oh man, this is interesting. It's probably Ayuk.
It's not probably.
It's just Definitely could get burned.
We're gonna laugh like, oh my god, that Kyle Shanahan, that silly bitch. Like,
listen, I hope
a lot of it, like I think most of it had to do with just the injury he was coming off of, right? And just being cautious with them, not running him out there and having to play. I think that had more to do with it than anything.
Yeah, but why play him then? He played enough snaps. Like it's not like they, you know what I mean? Like I guess it was the pitch count maybe.
Yeah.
But, yeah.
So here's where Antonio was coming from. There was more to this. Got trigger happy. One open spot on my bench. I pick up Tony Jones, Damian Williams because of having Monty, or go with James White. Also has Hines and Rojo on the bench.
James White for me.
James White for me as well. What do we think about this trade? Kev, throwing this one to you. This one from TC. I receive Evans, Sanders, Anderson. Give up Godwin, Galladay, Beasley, J-Rob.
Yeah, I mean, as long as we're talking about Miles Sanders, then yeah, I'll make that trade.
Yeah, 100%. You're giving up a bunch of bench guys, questionable guys after Godwin, obviously. Beasley, I think, is a little underrated in this offense, but as long as that's Miles, yes, good job there, Timothy Chan. Robby, one more time, Sermon owner, what do we think?
Yeah, I think you got to be patient and wait and see what the situation bears out. It could be a 50-50 split. There is a chance that Sermon takes over. There is the chance that it's just chaos, especially week 7 or 8 when Wilson comes back. So I think you just need to hold right now and see, because up until Sunday at 10:30, we were really, really excited about Sermon. A little bit of a setback, but I think he's still worth keeping.
You forgot the one flip, the other one too. Or there's a chance that Elijah Mitchell just takes over the backfield too. That's also in the range of possibility.
Yep, that is.
But yeah, I agree. I agree with my. Well, yeah, we've already talked about it. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay. Got it. Okay.
Yep. Okay. Yeah. Okay. Right. Yes.
Well, I mean, we don't want to keep bringing it up. Obviously, you wasn't in here listening to it, but you know.
Kev, this one for Gator fan. Ridley and A-Rob is my top 2 receivers. Other receivers are Robbie Anderson, Mooney, and Kirk. Start to flex. Not a big fan of Anderson and Lockett. Where's Lockett in this? Okay, never mind. Well, if you can play Lockett in.
Yeah, I don't know where Lockett fits in here.
Yeah, if Lockett is a choice.
Lockett's starting. But if not, if the decision between Robbie Anderson, Mooney, and Kirk, it's Robbie Anderson.
Yeah.
Oh, I guess he needs to start 2, right? Is that what he said?
Yeah, start 2 flex.
Anderson and Mooney.
I mean, so if you don't have Lockett, I don't understand the Lockett part.
Right.
But if you do, yeah, that's who you're starting. If you don't, then it would be Robby Anderson and probably Darnell Mooney.
Okay. Whoa. Okay.
Lock it up, lock it in. Let me begin. Emmanuel here needs a flex. DJ Moore, Galladay, Jones, or Javonte Williams already starting Keenan and JJ. Emmanuel, appreciate you being active. Welcome.
DJ Moore.
Robby, picking up James White, drops Sermon or Connor.
Oh, God. I'm not doing that, no.
Rapture has a Superflex question coming to you for this, Robby. Herbert, Cousins, Teddy B, Fields, Superflex, numero dos. So Cousins or Teddy. Fields not in consideration just yet.
Yeah, it's Cousins. Cousins should be a very good streamer this week.
Yeah, Robby, this is what I thought was happening earlier whenever you said this, because you were saying, you keep McLaurin in this deal. Anthony has Kittle being offered McLaurin and Everett.
Okay, yes. I'm keeping Kittle, I think. What do you guys have on that? I think I'm just keeping the best. I can go back and forth, but I think I don't want to lose McLaurin. Or no, gosh, I'm getting this so confused. He has Kittle. Keep Kittle. Keep Kittle.
Who's on first? No.
Who's on first? Reading has not been our strong suit. I'm gonna let you know that right now. We've all struggled with it. It's getting late.
Yeah, we are going to wrap up here. Really appreciate you guys rocking with us and keeping us busy this entire time. Robby, L.A. Hughes needs a flex. Galladay, Pittman, Rondell Moore. I'm so glad Rondell Moore is just in the conversation here.
Despite Pittman absolutely not doing anything, he had the most routes run of all those wide receivers. I got to go Galladay, though.
Do you?
Yeah, I do.
Kev, were you nodding in agreement? I also saw that Chikrin come across your face as well.
It's just this is how far we've fallen with Kenny Galladay, right? I mean,
we have.
But I mean, I have Kenny Galladay ranked at 50 this week. So
where do you have the other two?
Where do I have Pittman?
I mean, it's not like Kenny Galladay was terrible. He had 4 for 64. So
I have Michael Pittman at 56. And Rondell Moore below that.
Yeah, it's Galladay, I think.
Okay, so this is where Lockett fit in the above, trying to trade for Lockett.
Okay, trading for Lockett.
So here's the thing. I don't think you have enough firepower to do it.
Would you
Especially coming off of if he's trying to trade for Lockett, right? And that's what he's trying to do?
Yeah.
Yeah, you got to wait for
So coming off the week that he just had, you're never going to be able to the person who owns Lockett most generally is going to value him much higher because of the week that he just came off of. What you need to wait for if you want to target somebody like Lockett is wait till after this week, and hopefully he has one of his patented drop-off weeks where he gets you like 4 points, because that's what Tyler Lockett often does, and then you could acquire him at a much lower cost. Because right now you just don't go after players who are coming off big weeks, because you're always going to pay a premium for it, right? People tend to overvalue the moment, and so yes, I would not. I would hold off and I would wait. I still think. I mean, your wide receivers are fine. I mean, I don't think you're in desperate need of wide receiver help or anything like that. So I would hold and just wait.
Robby, this one for Raw Lens. Full PPR, Najee Henderson starting RBs. Adams, McLaurin at wide receiver. Do I trade Damian, Visca, and Eli for JT? Yes. If you're able to do that, yes. Hurry up. Go do that right now. If you're able to. If that was offered to you, yes.
He doesn't even need Javonte in there. I would do those 3 for just JT, but wow.
Yes. Yeah, if you can pull that off, absolutely. Got a couple of thank yous in there. Appreciate all of you guys. Okay, just got that one. If you're able to trade Tyson, I would. The news just came out today that they're apparently going to involve all 4. What that really means in terms of the split, who knows, but it's not a great situation. We already talked about it. Kev touched on it a little bit earlier with how, Tyson looked good early on throughout that game. It's not like he was even struggling, and then all of a sudden he wasn't in there. Then lets up that, that pass block that was not a pass block. Looked like he was out there as a matador and just olayed and let the bull go right to Lamar Jackson there. So if you can, absolutely trade him. Cody fan, hey, thank you for joining us.
Hey, it's Burner.
That's what I wish I looked like. Chase, Cooks, Golladay, Edmonds for flex.
Jamar Chase.
Yes. Jamar Chase. My God. Walito, stop. It's enough. It's enough.
What did he do? I didn't see. What did he do?
He just answered Cooks.
He's answered Cooks to that.
His answer will be Cooks for any
no matter
question.
what.
Yep.
Yeah, well, if you're able to pull that off with Harris and Mitchell, go.
Yeah. Try and get both of them, and if they decline it, just go JT, and I'd still want that.
Hey, Zeus wants to know Eckler or Fuller in a standard league in the flex.
Austin Eckler is a goal line back that doesn't catch passes. I think standard leagues are for him.
Let's go.
Austin Eckler is the correct answer.
Gator fan, would you rather have Carson or CEH rostered? I don't know why you have to make this decision. Gator fan.
Mm-hmm.
You should not have to make this choice. I think after what we saw week 1, they're close. They're close. Yeah, it's still Clyde for me, but they are close. Carson just goes undervalued each and every week. Kev, this one for you, buddy. This one is just right up your alley.
Hey, we already answered this earlier, and we already had this conversation, Joseph. Okay, I already told you. So that was me. Okay, that was responding. In case you're wondering, it is definitely. If you want to drop Ty Josh for Roundtree, I think you can. Like I think that's fine. I mean, Roundtree received 30% of the opportunities in the backfield, but I will still say there were still some positives for Ty Johnson as well.
God.
Right, and so I mean, I think they're both at this point flyers. But I think Ty Johnson still has a clear path to being the RB1. So
the Jets,
that's fine. That's fine.
This is we're going after that. This is why Gator brought up the Carson or Clyde trying to flip one of those running backs.
Yeah, flip Carson.
Yeah.
Yep.
That's going to be your best return anyway. Emmanuel, appreciate all coming in here. You don't have to tell the league mates. We get why you would not want to. If you don't want to do that, you can help us out. Go and rate and review us on podcasts, subscribe to the channel, and then follow us across Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, whatever other social channels you have.
Go follow the 47 things.
Hey, I'm just saying.
I will jump in there, Cody. You normally do a lot of the plugs. I will say you guys want to follow this stuff. On Saturdays, we're doing Prop Talk. There is fantastic money to be made. Tom nails almost all the picks every single week. Cody keeping up with him there. So that's something you guys want to tune into. A video that came out for the first week. We did it last year. Just did the first week is Nate's recap of all the trends. I think that's fantastic. You guys need to be watching those videos. Maddie and Kev going live on Thursday for DFS. Again, easy money. Just be tuned into all this stuff because you want to make money. You want to win your leagues. That's why you should subscribe to all these spots.
One hundo. Rollins. See, Kev, it wasn't that much to ask. Rollins is already coming through. Rollins, I appreciate you. Kev is just lazy.
And he said all of that. Like,
yeah,
the laundry list of stuff.
There were 4 things. All right, let's we have 2 more things here. Rock out. Let's get to this one because Rock out has been rocking out with us since last year. Kev, 2 flexes: AB, Davis, Williams, Tyson. Who are you going with out of those 2?
First 2.
One of my fellow owners has Eckler is one of my favorites. What's a realistic trade for him? You could probably do Carson for Eckler straight up after that week. I would dangle Carson out there. I think that's close enough. And then if the Eckler owner wants something a little bit back in return, I think that's a strong enough starting point where I would go with that straight up first and then see where that gets you.
Yeah. No, I would agree. I think I agree with that. The one thing I will say is the one thing when it comes to plugging what we do here. This is what all the thing I'll say is I feel like our distinction from everywhere else is I feel like that we actually have more. Like I feel like we actually try to debate and we actually try to have conversations that aren't always comfortable instead of it just being like let's go around the room of. Yep, this is what I think, this is what I think, this is what I think, this is what I think. Like, I feel like we all have different opinions, and we're not afraid to tell each other that we're wrong, and we're not afraid to talk it out, where there's a lot of places that I've been doing this for a lot longer than most people here with, in terms of content and everything else. And the one thing that I've always wanted was I always wanted it to be where it was debate, and we actually debate these things out and talk about it, and where a lot of places just don't do that. It's a lot of just yes. We all agree. Okay, move on. Nobody learns anything by doing that, right? Like I am very strong in my takes that I have, and I'm not always right. But I'm also the first. I will also be the first to tell you when I'm wrong, because I just don't. I feel like if anybody who does this, because there's no such thing as experts, and we've talked about this a lot, right? There is no experts. I hate when people say that word experts because there's no such thing as a fantasy expert, right? I just think we dig into it a little bit more, but you need to be honest with yourself as well and be able to admit when you're wrong. And so I would much rather follow somebody that has conviction in their takes, but also can admit when they're wrong and understand why. Because I think that's how you get better. Because I think that's what we're all trying to do, right? We're all just trying to get better anyway. So that's all I'm going to say. I just feel like that's what we bring to the table that most other places don't, that I've seen in terms of content. Most of it is really boring, and it's really just, a circle jerk of nothingness is what it ends up being at the end of the day. And so
that's what I appreciate. Circle jerk. I thought we were getting that in the first sentence. You held off. You did well there.
Yeah, I tried. I really didn't want to say it. I was trying to keep it PG, but I can't.
So we talked. You just talked all about the debate, Kev. But I think Evans or Mitchell here. Do we have the same answer across the board?
Well, I mean, I know for you guys, what sides you're going to go on. It's really close because I actually have Edmonds just one spot ahead. So I would go Edmonds here, but I have Edmonds at 21 and Mitchell at 22.
Finishing this up with Silver Rapture, Mike Cora, Kyler, Cook, Najee, Ridley, Waller. I don't think you have scrubs. I think.
Yeah, I was going to say, why are we calling T. Higgins a scrub? Like, what are we doing?
Higgins is a great 2. Robby is a fine 3. Obviously, after your 2 running backs, you have question marks. If Sermon can become the guy, he's fine. What I would do, hopefully Sermon does pop off. I would try and trade Tyson Williams like we were just talking about if someone's not keeping up with the news didn't see that they were all going to be working in. I would try and trade Tyson, see if you can get a better RB3 option there. But Rapture, I think you're fine. Don't be so hard on yourself, and don't be so hard on the rest of your team there. Real quick, Robby, I know you got to get out of here. David has a question. Edmonds, Kirk, Singletary, and a half point.
Edmonds.
And then where do we all have Clyde ranked this week for our guy Ron here? I think I have him. It's like
14.
a high.
I have him at 13.
14.
I have him at 13.
Yes, that 13, 14, 15 range. He's a solid RB2 play this week. Appreciate all you guys. I don't want to lay out the laundry list because Kev doesn't want to hear it again. But Twitter, TikTok, Instagram, podcast, subscribe, like, rate, review. Hit us with it all. Give us the love. The Discord also free for you guys to answer any questions we don't get to. Drop them here on the YouTube channel as well. Hope you guys have a great week too. DFS show, if you guys play DFS, live tomorrow. And the prop talk will be coming out at some point. Not sure how we're going to do that, whether it's going to be live or off air, but we will have that for you as well. Full rankings, thefantasyauthority.com.